and adding slaw. My grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the Alley in downtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Welcome in as we get ever closer to Saturday. There is a buzz around the city about this game. I don't know what the crowd's going to be. You know, I've heard 37,000. I've heard 57,000. We'll just have to wait and see. For those who do come, I think they're going to see a heck of a football game. As I get closer and look at all the numbers and everything else, and tomorrow, as you know, Brett, we meet with the coaches. We'll meet with Mike. We'll meet with both of the coordinators. And we'll get a better sense of what is going on. No, okay. I don't think they would let you in.
I wouldn't do that if I could.
I'm sure Matt Luke and Rich Rod and Mike McIntyre wouldn't have me in on your meetings with David Kellum, who we're going to have today at 5. I'm looking forward to that. In fact, if you want to look at our lineup, TJ Reeves joins us at 3:30. He is in Dallas for the final Tampa Bay Buccaneer preseason game.
Talk about some rapidly played games over the course of Thursday and Friday, and I don't even think any are scheduled for Saturday. I think they get all of them out of the way by Friday and some final cuts made, but there's still some people that need those games, but largely don't you think they know who's going to be on the 53-man?
This game is for who's going to be the last seven
Special
guys
team.
on your team.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is for. 3:45, we'll begin making picks. We'll do LSU, and I'll let you know. I think LSU is going to be pretty good.
It should be.
When you were gone, I had Ron Higgins on, and you know Ron is not a guy who basically sells the team, right? He is pretty objective, just the facts, Jack. And he's got me convinced Joe Burrow's pretty good. And, you know, they hired a consultant that came from the New Orleans Saints to help the offensive coordinator with the passing game. And they think Burrow's the real deal. I think I'm going to go hard. I have LSU with a pretty good record.
All the King's horses, all the King's men to keep Coach O up again. I mean, he's got a lot of help. They're not sparing a dime to support him.
No, and look, it's paid off.
It has.
Yeah, I hate to say it.
I think I see an evolution of him.
I am not a big fan, or wasn't a big fan. The way he was when he was in Oxford was not a good place to be.
He learned from it.
I think he did. I think he learned. I think he was a better guy at USC from all accounts that I've ever heard. And when you got a guy who I know did not like his act in Oxford, in Ron Higgins, who's singing his praises now and says he is a head coach and is becoming more respected,
it's all growth.
Then I will believe that. John Gowen, final appearance. Did you see the ink John got in the Daily Memphian on his motorcycle cart?
Mm-hmm. John will be with us. We will crown the golf picking champion of 2019, the champion picker of the year.
Wow.
Gold medal, too.
We don't actually have to put a crown on his head, do we?
Oh, yeah. We're going to have a ceremony.
I think that should be the case.
It'd be the last one ever for him. Let him enjoy it.
You're right. We should let him enjoy his last run, his last ride into the sunset.
You are keeping track of all these football picks, correct? I don't think I've ever beaten you in football picks.
You've never touched me in the football picks.
It's kind of like me and you in golf. I just have to point to scoreboard.
We will crown the winner of 2019 today.
Then Jason Munz will be here. I'm going to let you know.
A lot of breaking news.
This story just broke. The commercial appeal has picked the Tigers' record for the year. We're not doing that until Friday. Jason Munz went out on the limb. Jason Munz says 10-2 for Memphis this year. We'll talk some hoops. He was obviously in the Bahamas. We'll see if he's got a tan.
Got Isaiah Stokes.
And today with the big news, it's my top story of the day.
Little bro of
Jarnell. Yeah. And
he's not little.
He was
It's a big ad, Dave.
I'll tell you what,
it's a
he
big
is.
Piece.
This is
You
how
just
hard.
need
This is
you
how
need
hard.
wide bodies down the stretch of the year.
Yeah, this is how hard it is to make the NBA. I thought Jarnell Stokes
I did too.
was a really, really good college basketball player. I mean, a really, really, really good college
I
basketball
thought he was
player.
a Corliss Williamson
But
type.
his problem was he's a tweener.
He is.
And he's the only way you can be a really, really, really good NBA player from a really, really, really good college player if you're a tweener is to be a really, really, really good shooter.
Good offensive player.
And he was not a really, really good shooter.
Because if you're not that, then when you go to that other end, who are you going to guard?
4:45, we'll make our final picks of the day. It'll be A&M and Auburn. And then I can't wait to talk with David Kellum, my counterpart at Ole Miss, and he's been there even longer than me. 40 years he's been on a broadcast team at Ole Miss and 31 years of football, right?
Starting Saturday will be your number 31.
So he replaced Stocker?
He replaced Tom, yes.
Okay. So it was Torgerson, Tom Stocker, and then David? He'll tell us.
Charlie Mack could have been in there somewhere.
Charlie Mack Alexander?
Uh-huh.
I think he was everywhere. How many different schools did Charlie Mack Alexander announce for?
He is the hashtag. It just means more. He was everywhere in the SEC.
Well, I know he's
Vandy,
been South Carolina,
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Just those four?
Okay, well, at a time when we were when the SEC was just 12, that's a third. Yeah, people say
true.
they're the voice of.
That is true. That's a lot.
I remember Charlie Mack at Channel 3 here.
It's a little before me. He was gone. He had gone to Nashville, and he was the voice of Andy when I got here in 81.
I like Charlie Mack.
I do, too. Chris Raby at 5:30. Gosh, he's going to be insufferable today.
I don't think so.
Oh,
Chris is not, he's not that way.
Of course not. With you, because you're all on the same
What?
page.
What? I mean, I don't hear anything. What are you talking about, Dave? God. Cardinals are losing right now.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm. Jack Flaherty.
Jack Flaherty's losing? That's impossible. You're lying to me.
Flaherty's losing right now as we speak. Where they had issues last night with the roof in Milwaukee. One job.
That's the funniest thing ever.
One job.
No, that's funny.
One job.
How does that happen?
3-1 Brew Crew right now. Cardinals win.
Carter, Brew Crew was up 1-0 yesterday. I turned away for a little bit.
You know
Next
why the
time I
Cardinals come back, don't you?
Why? Because Flaherty's pitching.
No, because they're never losing another game.
Oh. I'll be here for you when they do.
Well, thank you, Dave.
Cubs winners last night.
Won't really be necessary, but I appreciate that.
Cubs winners last night, and they knew they had to have it.
Beat a tough customer and Stroman facing a tough one tonight.
I got to tell you something. Addison Russell has come back and played really good. I didn't think Addison Russell would be back. And my son pointed this out to me today at lunch.
Which son?
Jacob.
Okay. Is he more the diehard than
Nathan is, you want to ask anything about music or music history?
He's a Cub fan, though.
He will be like, yeah, he is.
But he doesn't.
He's a Cub fan, Bear fan, but he doesn't. He doesn't die. I mean, if they lose, he goes, hey,
he can go to bed.
You want to listen to some Pink Floyd?
Gotcha.
Come on. That's what he's going to say. If the Cubs lose, I can't get a hold of my son Jacob because he's in a catatonic state. He reminds me of you in Game 6 of the World Series.
when they took me to the concrete?
Yes. He's like that for every game, though.
I hate to be rambling because we're going in every direction here. Have you seen the news on our friend Octavio Dotel?
Yeah. I actually, so help me God.
Started to text you last week when OD
I used that as the story I could do without.
Did you? Yeah.
And
he's our buddy.
And, his mother's our buddy.
And the rest of the family.
Yeah. Could you believe that story? The dude is a drug dealer, allegedly.
Kingpin.
Allegedly.
Back to Nathan. What's his favorite band all time? Is it Pink Floyd?
I'll tell you who he loves. Well, he's a hard rock guy. He loves his band. It used to be called Geist. Now it's Sunweight. Because apparently Geist, they were Geist for like 2.5 years, and some German band had it trademarked. So now he's Sunweight.
Give me a spelling on Geist, like Zeitgeist?
Geist.
Okay, yeah.
It's a German. It's a German word for ghost. Mm-hmm. Why he chose that, I have no idea. But I think his one of his favorite bands of all time is actually we share this love, Steely Dan. Love Steely Dan.
You know what they said they call the Crimson Tide?
They call Alabama.
The
Crimson Tide. Call me Deacon Blue. Actually, call me Cub Blue.
Call you Worldwide Wolo.
Cub Blue. Worldwide Wolo. Where's Worldwide West these days? He's an agent now, right? He decided he got out of the other stuff and he became an actual licensed agent, didn't he?
Okay.
I think.
And good luck to him. So, Addison Russell.
Addison Russell? Do you know how many... Thank you for coming back to that. I forgot we'd gone there.
My brain links.
Do you know how many REI Russell had the year the Cubs won the World Series?
In 2016, I'm going to say 79.
96.
Really? Wow.
And he was the shortstop, and Baez was the second baseman.
I thought he was going to be the superstar of the young Cubbies.
And maybe it'll all come. We had personal problems. This is another reason why you got to keep Joe Madden, even if this year goes down the tubes.
You got to keep Joe Madden for 2016 and ending the curse of 108.
Absolutely. And I think his players love him. But no Morrow this year, right? Zobrist's wife left him, and it literally fried him.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. So,
former MVP of the World Series that year.
Right. So he he's a little older, but he could come back. And Addison Russell had the 40-game suspension for the domestic violence, and I don't think he's come back the same, but maybe now he is. Contreras has been hurt. There's, all of a sudden.
Do we have violin music?
I'm just
I
saying.
can find some.
I'm just saying to you, there's reasons why.
This is why I'm here for you.
The Cubs are in second place. The Cardinals are very fortunate.
I don't mean
for the misfortune of this stuff of the Cubs.
They are, because the Cardinals aren't very good, Dave. And I don't mean this as a shot. I don't. And I know it comes off like that, but I don't mean it that way. I promise you I don't. Could it be this? Cubs simply aren't that good.
Could be. But I'm telling you, look at the makeup of that team and think about Russell like he was.
Schwarber really that good?
Schwarber's the one guy. And I'm not going to say he's a bust because look at Schwarber's numbers. He's got 30 home runs. He's gotten better in the outfield. I'm not saying he's a bust,
Rizzo
but he's not a star. I don't know. I think Rizzo's really good, and I think Bryant's really good, and I think Baez is the best of all of them. And don't forget,
big last night for Yu Darvish. And that game could be one you could circle.
Yu Darvish is starting to look a little bit like Flaherty has looked. He's gotten a string of 4 or 5 that are really good. John Lester, I don't know what's happened to him.
The Cardinals have had a hot 3 weeks. What if the Cubs have the next hot 3 weeks?
And that could happen. And I just got this sick feeling from Philly. And then they lose 3 at home after they've owned everybody in Wrigley Field.
To Washington,
to the Nationals. But Nationals are good. So we'll see. I'm
violin music. You got any?
I think you're jumping the gun on the violin music. I'm just telling you, this is why if it doesn't happen this year, the Cubs, if they keep everybody in place, they could be really, really, really good next year. And one other guy I forgot to mention is the All-Star catcher. Wilson Contreras has been hurt.
Fundamentally, it's still a sound organization.
And they're only 3 out. And guess what? They got 7 left with you. Seven left with you, buddy.
7 matchups left with the Cardinals. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Sales Event. Great offers on all 2019 models and always on special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look outstanding in one of those beautiful cars as well. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving great. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, we've already sort of let the cat out of the bag here, but it is the Tigers edition now of Hoopster Isaiah Stokes, the transfer from Florida, has enrolled in school either yesterday or today. He's a kid that went to Lausanne, then transferred to IMG, took a redshirt year when he went to Florida, played last year, 26 games, only 2.7 points per game.
What's the eligibility on it? Is it this year or does he have to sit out?
I know he has to sit out this year. He has to sit out this year. He would be eligible, I think, 3 years, starting with the 2020-21 season.
Well, that's a big body that you always need. Those types. Could see Florida next year in the Elite Eight. He's leaving a good team.
He is. He is.
And Michael White may need that kind of run next year in the tournament.
But by the way, this just in, Svitolina, who is the number 5 seed, she was just a winner over Venus Williams, 6-4, 6-4. So one of the Williams sisters, the older one, the one that is not seeded, out now in straight sets. You got to wonder how many more U.S. Opens will there be for Venus Williams.
Got to be close to the end, doesn't it?
I hope not. She still makes money. She's still in the top 30.
My top story, Cardinals may never lose again. If they come back today, down 3-1 to the Crew, I'm going to go with it. They never lose another game ever again. Magic number now, 29. Last night.
29?
29.
And you're invoking that?
A combination of 29 Cardinal wins or Cubs losses. Say 15 Cardinals wins and 14 Cubs losses. Bingo, right there. Presto, you're there. On a night that the captain, Yadier Molina, exploded. Just a great game for him last night. Home runs, doing it all, offensive, defensive. Cardinals have taken command of the National League Central. Pitching, defense, bullpen, unlikely stars, everything going right. May never lose another game.
What happened to the roof in Milwaukee?
One job. Man had one job.
How long did it take to close that thing once they...
They say 10 minutes. It took a while. They don't have a tarp. There's a reason.
They don't even have a tarp. Yeah, well, I guess why.
Got a roof.
I was watching that game earlier in the night.
Let's watch like the Weather Channel. If you see a sail kind of forming over Milwaukee, get closed.
I wondered if the thing was open when I started to watch the game. Because I thought, it's probably a beautiful night in Milwaukee. I wonder if they have it open because it seems like it's always closed. And sure enough, it was open. And they didn't close it quick enough.
No. We had water. Had rain.
Was it a little slick in the outfield after that?
Well, it's dangerous. Trying to hurt our guys. And after Milwaukee won that bogus game last week when the Cardinals didn't get to bat 27 times at home, they should have just called it all square for last week. Everybody go home.
Wait, can I ask you a question? It seems to me, I'm checking, Google this, would you please, Drew? A baseball game since the 1800s, if they get 5 complete innings in and they can't play after that, it is called an official game. I don't think this is a new wrinkle. Just double check.
We was cheated. You want a World Series game to end
Get
like that?
some violins out for that.
You want a World Series game to end like that?
Well, they'll try to pick it back up.
Well, it's a playoff contention game. What if that one game costs us?
We're going to lose that game no matter what.
Against Milwaukee's pitching?
I'm sorry.
I was irate over it.
Oh, jeez. I was ecstatic.
Not top story of the day.
This is a sad story. The family
it's a nightmare.
of the Tampa Bay's prospect kid named Blake Blevins. He's a double-A pitcher. The whole, basically, his immediate family was killed. Bivens' wife, child, and mother-in-law were killed by his brother-in-law. At last time I saw, there was no motive known why this 18-year-old kid went crazy. So Bevan's team, which is the Montgomery Biscuits, and I took that little mini golf trip on the Alabama Golf Trail. We were there in a restaurant right across from that stadium in Montgomery.
We stayed
and
in
the Biscuits
right
were
back.
playing the Chattanooga Lookouts that night, and that's the doubleheader they had to call off last night.
Every opposing team that plays Auburn stays at the Embassy Suites right by it, and Auburn stays on Friday night at the Renaissance across the street. Alabama and Auburn on Iron Bowl Friday night, they're 100 yards from each other. And the Biscuits ballpark's right there.
Have you ever been inside that? I wanted to go, but we were just so booked.
We haven't, because when we're down there, the season's over. But last night, I follow minor league baseball's Twitter site, and you see that, and you see it canceled for no reason, nothing, no specifics, and you're thinking, did did a team official, what has happened
Yeah.
to abruptly do that? Well, that's it.
That's the Southern League.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
old Sally League.
Yeah, the old Southern League.
We know it.
You're not top.
It was horrible. My not top story. Transfer portal spinning around like it's the coach's carousel around Thanksgiving. I don't know how good or bad it is for college football. It's where we are. It's mostly the times. But you're going to see immediate eligibility at places, and you're going to see at this time of the year a player, say at Alabama, quit, go in the transfer portal, and be starting on a Saturday for Auburn, or vice versa. Rivalry, OU, Texas, Ole Miss, any of them, Michigan, Ohio State. You're going to see a player that had spent most of August camp at one place when they get immediate eligibility, and they will.
I don't think you'll see that.
I don't know how you stop it at this point, Dave.
Well, if you're a grad student, you couldn't, I guess. But if you're a regular student still, you can enter the transfer portal. But unless you've got special circumstances, and I'll give you an example. I think that Brady McBride is eligible to play at Texas State, which is where he chose to go when he decided he was going to leave here. His father, unfortunately, is ill. I believe his father has cancer. He's got a legit reason to want to play closer to his father. I originally thought he would go to JC for a year and end up at SMU because the kid's good enough to play in the American Athletic Conference. But he chose to go this route, and that so is a special circumstance. And I imagine that they investigate to see if those things are for real. But I don't think any guy who's healthy, who doesn't have a reason to transfer to another school, yes, he can get in the transfer portal, but he can't play right away. He's got to sit out a year, just like Isaiah Stokes has to sit out a year now.
I don't see how they're going to be able to stop it going forward. I think that's going to be part of the player liberation.
We'll see. And maybe that'll be the case if they allow a one-time transfer. Would you still keep the graduate transfer rule if you did that? Or would
Probably
that nullify that?
I'd probably still
So
keep
then
it.
you'd get two transfers.
We got guys that now are playing over 4 or 5 years at 3 different places. FBS.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Keep, the quarterback at BYU, I know played at 3 places.
How did he do that? He had to sit out twice for 1 year and then was a graduate student?
I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
I still think at this point, and it'll be interesting to see if they do grant like the one-time transfer. You know, that's when Jim Harbaugh was taken to task for not allowing a transfer, or they said he was not allowing, I think it was to an SEC school. Help me out here. Do you remember
It was
the
Shea
story?
Patterson.
No. This was a Michigan player going somewhere else, and it was to, I want to say it might have been Florida. And they complained that Harbaugh wouldn't release him. And Harbaugh said, I released him. I'm all for a one-time transfer rule. He said, but it's not up to me to grant eligibility. It's up to the NCAA. I'm trying to remember. Somebody text us on the First Bank text line at 67129. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Family Leisure, and I do want to remind everybody, I think it's coming to an end on Sunday. It'll be the end of that liquidation sale, that clearance liquidation sale that they've got going on right now, where you can get a big outdoor pool for $19.99, patio furniture, state-of-the-art, top of the line, starting at $12.99. Even the big swim spas, they start at $9.99, under $1,000. And believe me, there's still plenty of summer to enjoy your new toys. We've got a couple more months of swimming to go, so please take advantage of the clearance sale. Just get to I-40 and Wooden Road, 70,000 square feet of family and fun, all coming together. We take the time out. When we come back, to Tampa we go.
Dallas.
To Dallas we go.
Maybe a golf course.
I wonder where he's playing. We'll find out in a minute. TJ Reeves is next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all three. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops this Labor Day weekend for the Trade-In, Trade-Up sale. Trade in your golf balls and get $3 towards a new dozen. Trade in your shoes and get $10 towards a new pair. Trade in your golf bag and get $25 towards a new one. And get a 50% bonus trade-in on your old clubs. And remember, be sure and check out the new T-Series irons from Titleist. It's all happening now through Labor Day at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, serving golfers since 1968.
Kay, I understand you suffered from symptoms of Parkinson's. Can you tell me how the Schrader Orthopedic Group with the stem cells helped you?
Stem cell had been something I had been researching for quite some time for Parkinson's, and I knew stem cell was something that was to be investigated, but when I heard about the Schrader Clinic and that they use your own stem cell, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I came up for my consultation and I said, I'm ready to go. I saw my first sign with my right hand because that's where I was first aware of my Parkinson's. And my hand had been drawing up. I did what I normally do, like stretching my hand out, and I stretched and stretched and stretched, and all of a sudden, both hands looked exactly alike.
I know you went in for Parkinson's, but what else happened?
Have TMJ dysfunction, and as I stretched my mouth and I kept stretching, I thought, it's not cracking, it's not hurting. So that was another benefit.
Call 901-465-4300 and see how Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell can help you today.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
We will go to Dallas and visit with TJ Reeves with the Tampa Bay Buccaneer Radio Network about the Bucs and the Cowboys tomorrow night in preseason football. You can message us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And we've gotten on Facebook several messages. Thank you very much from all that have contacted us. And I hate to do this over the air, but I want to know, I keep seeing this name pop up on the screen contacting us, and the Michigan connection really intrigues me. Thank you, Jeremy LeSueur, that has contacted us. And if you could, would you acknowledge if you are the Jeremy LeSueur from Holly Springs that was the great defensive back at Michigan? If you're not, it's the same name, but there aren't many.
Right.
It's not Bob Jones up there. It's not, Steve Smith up there. If that's the Jeremy LeSueur from Holly Springs that played at Michigan and great player, I'd love to know because I loved watching you play college football. If that's you, thank you. And if it's not you, thank you.
The guy that I was thinking about that everybody was hot about was, I believe, Aubrey Solomon, who transferred to Tennessee after last year, was granted eligibility yesterday. There was an article about Harbaugh was not cooperating.
On Facebook. Yeah. He said it was Cincinnati. Oh, yeah. Solomon transferred from Michigan, and he said, and he's right about this. He said, kids and parents will find a reason. When you're ready to get out, when you're anybody, any school you've ever been in, for any reason, if you're the computers major, when you're ready to go, you find a reason to go.
There's so many different sources you can get us, and I keep forgetting that, so I'm glad that you were looking at that one. And you can get a hold of us at Sports 56, Facebook, Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Of course, the First Bank text line, 67129. And another texter asks, what time will Tiger Walk be? And it will be at 8:30. So make sure that is always a fun deal. In the background, I hear him. That is TJ Reeves. I thought I would hear the ping of a driver or something. What's going on? I know you're in
Not
Dallas.
yet.
I know you're in Dallas. Where are you playing?
I'm in your old stomping ground, and I also used to live for a brief time in and around this area doing national radio for 1 year in 1997. I am in and around the TPC Las Colinas, or what's now the TPC Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Here, getting ready for Buccaneers and Cowboys preseason finale tomorrow night. So how are you guys?
Great, TJ.
I love that golf course. And
love it.
That is
Love it.
there is such a
Man, I've
cool
had fun out
par
there.
3. I want to say it's 17.
It is 17.
That is. I'll never forget covering Tom Watson was smoking a cigarette right before he took this.
I didn't know Tom Watson was a smoker.
Yeah, he was. This is early in his career. And
Yeah.
as well, 1986,
Yeah.
the year I was covering it for KRLD. And, we did the radio broadcasts.
Y'all were PGA Tour radio before PGA Tour.
Exactly, we
told
were.
me.
Brad Sham was in
You
the
told me you were
18th
like the
hour.
forerunners, you and Brad Sham.
Craig Way.
Craig Way and Chuck Cooperstein. We were the three guys with Brad Sham.
Man, you guys did well. What a group, TJ.
It was.
Well,
it was
all
really-
right, yeah. Well, he's always been a high roller, but look,
He
I
has
got to make him profoundly jealous. So I am now staring at Byron Nelson's statue, by the way, outside the
we're
TPC
jealous.
Four Seasons.
Tell
with
me,
all
whoa.
with all the winners,
Make
the
me
whole
re-
marble thing. I mean, it's epic. I need to send a picture and
do
let
it.
you guys
Please.
retweet it on Sports 56 Twitter.
Make me
here that I take the picture because this is pretty cool right out here.
Make me really
And
jealous.
I've had the privilege. Look, I've had the privilege of working this tournament before for PGA Tour Radio, and it's really a cool place. But now they've moved the tournament from here to another course
Trinity
the last
National.
couple of years. But it was here. What? Well, like 25 years,
Well,
right?
It
At
was
this course.
It was there as long as it had the Byron Nelson name. I can tell you that for sure. And it was a
Right.
young course in '86 actually when
Very
when-
undeveloped out there. Really, you got to Texas Stadium, and that was about it out there.
Right. Now it's wall-to-wall human beings, and the Four Seasons is a really cool hotel.
Oh, it's great.
Not that I've ever stayed there, but I was going to say, if you really want to make me jealous, tell me you're staying there.
Yes, we are staying in this
Oh, man.
area.
He's a
We gotta
big
get that
leaguer.
covert.
He's
Yeah, but-
a big
so
leaguer.
Why
I'm
so-
actually getting the chance,
why
to
so
make
far
you feel.
away?
Look, you're a guy that has flown to Augusta like day of a practice round and hobnob, and then flown back to Memphis and done the radio show the next day. So you're trying to act like that you don't get to do these kind of things here and there. But I mean, come on.
Tough
So
life.
you were talking about the par 3 17th when they used to play it here.
Yeah.
When I was doing the national stuff here in 1997, that was the Byron Nelson that Tiger played about 2 weeks after the Masters, 2 maybe 3 weeks after the Masters. They came here to Dallas and played that one in May, and he ended up winning the tournament, obviously. So he followed up the Hello World win where he destroyed Augusta National in 97 with playing here. And I still remember on the Saturday, he's in the final group on the Saturday. I was not at the final round on Sunday, but the final group on Saturday, the par 3, if you can picture this, if you don't remember it, is kind of a downhill, about 100, what would you say, well, 170, 180 yards.
Yeah, 180,
hole,
180.
And they have water on the right with like a little waterfall with the rocks to the right of the green that if you miss short and right, you're in the water. Well, at that time, they had not gotten so sponsor-driven with all of the luxury suites that you have out at like Southwind for the St. Jude or at the other tour stops, wherever they are. So there was standing room all the way to the left and wrapping all the way around to the back of the green where they had some grandstands, and they might have had like one temporary suite. I cannot tell you I can't convey how many people were on that golf hole. It easily had to be 10,000 people on that golf hole because he was the last group of the day. So you had thousands walking with him coming in, and it was amazing how quiet it was for that many people for him to hit his tee shot, because I was standing there probably 7 deep or 10 deep trying just to get a glimpse of him hitting it on that tee. So you mentioned that 17th hole, and he put it on in regulation, and I think he missed the putt, but he went on to win the tournament and was the conquering hero, and won a couple of more times, I think, in 97 too, after winning the Masters. So vivid memory of that a while back with Mr. Woods and this golf course, boys.
TJ, why are y'all staying so darn far from Jerry's World?
Well, it depends because NFL teams stay in different places. Sometimes you stay near the stadium or not. We've stayed here before. We've stayed other places in Dallas, and usually it is not near Arlington. And what's interesting, Stats, you'll appreciate this. Auburn getting ready to play Oregon, and they are descending here in particular from Auburn and from Alabama, from Alabama, from Birmingham, and from elsewhere, because there were a lot of Auburn people in the airport midday today getting here already for Saturday night. And I was talking to some of them, and they were talking about they were staying in downtown Dallas for the game in Arlington. These are fans now that were coming in, but I mean there was a group of about 8 or 10 of them that were down around baggage claim where I am. So they're already talk about getting worked up. They're already here to get worked up on Wednesday for Saturday night.
They are. I guarantee you they are. You're right. A lot of times, and what people don't realize, sometimes long negotiated, maybe years in advance, somebody's gone to various hotels and places and negotiated, a really super great rate. I don't know quite as much with NFL because you don't go every year, but like NBA, Major League Baseball, hey, let's sign about a 3 or 4 year contract. We all lock in at this rate. And, it's a lot of work to do that. And everybody's done the site survey. I mean, I guarantee you somebody on that travel party knows exactly how much time it'll take to get to that stadium. Light traffic, heavy traffic, major wreck, alternate route.
They also get police escorts. It's the biggest waste of taxpayer money in the history of mankind.
NBA
to his point, we're leaving like 30 to 45 minutes earlier because it is Thursday afternoon Dallas traffic, not a Sunday morning game day for the regular season. So you're going to battle the regular afternoon traffic, and so we've already been warned about that. And I remember being here previously for the Final Four that was here in 2014 at Jerry's World at AT&T Stadium. And we were staying in downtown Dallas. All the media stuff, the media hotels were in downtown Dallas. And I think we left at about 10:30 in the morning to be there for the national championship game that night at 8 o'clock because they kept warning everybody, hey, you do not want to be on the later buses at 2 or 3, much less 4, trying to battle the traffic to get out to Arlington from downtown Dallas. It just depends, again, on where you're staying. And look, it's first world problems when you're dealing with that because a lot of people are paying a lot of money and staying in these hotels and trying to stay there and trying to go. And boy, you're talking about it all over college football this weekend, and with college and the NFL next week, there are fans traveling everywhere, trying to get in and go see their team and go watch these games, guys.
All right, I got a NFL question for you. It's not about the Bucs.
Sure.
Today, the Indianapolis Colts signed free agent quarterback Brock Osweiler to back up.
How about that?
Jacoby Brissett. I don't know if he's the backup to him or if he automatically is listed number 2 ahead of Chad Kelly. I really don't know the answer to that. My question would be, and I mean this sincerely, if you're looking at the career of Brock Osweiler, who's had chances and not ever really done a darn thing, or Colin Kaepernick, who are you choosing?
Well, I mean, if it was just based on football, Kaepernick would obviously have already been back in the league over the last 2 or 3 years, but it's not just based on that. We've had this discussion before. Yeah, he's immensely talented and qualified to go be a backup quarterback. Nobody's disputing that. But nobody's disputing at the same time that if you're poking the institution with a stick and you're wanting to be an activist, if they don't want that as part of their business, then so be it. And they've already reached a settlement with him too.
Well,
and I don't know what
they don't say.
I don't know what the settlement says or doesn't say about him playing in the future.
TJ, that's not exactly accurate. Nobody's ever said he's not good enough. I mean, they're clearly, because of his social activism, not allowing him to play. They're not giving him a chance.
Well,
but they're not saying
they also.
that.
But to be clear, I just said it. They reached a settlement with him about that, and it's not clear in the settlement what it says or doesn't say about him playing anymore because he took money for it to settle and for his lawsuit that he brought against him. And I'm agreeing with you that if it was based solely on the merit of playing, he would be back in there. He would have already been back in there.
I know this.
Obviously,
Brock Osweiler can't play. I know that much.
So that's good for your guy.
Not in long stretches.
Chad Kelly,
but it scares me that
gets a shot here.
But it scares me that Chad Kelly may not have done enough to prove to Frank Reich and the Colts that he's capable. If the answer is bring in Brock Osweiler,
I agree.
Well, and they're obviously concerned what happens if there's an injury. which can happen. And Osweiler has been around as a veteran and takes the league minimum. He did that last year in Miami, and obviously hasn't lived up to it, and has bounced around from Denver to Houston to Miami, and now. But we see this a lot in the NFL with backups. I mean, the Buccaneer backup who's injured is Blaine Gabbert, who was originally a top 10 pick of the Jaguars, and since then, Gabbert has been in San Francisco, has been in Arizona, has been in Nashville last year, where he won a couple of games late in the year with Tennessee, and now he's here.
He's Johnny Cash.
Yeah, well, I've been everywhere, man. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
On those.
So
yeah, welcome to the life of a backup.
Going into the season, TJ, I don't want to pin you down on W's and L's for the Buccaneers, but is it a let's have a surprising year and maybe knock on the playoff door type year?
That's the vibe. That's the hope. Because I mean, there's nobody anywhere talking about this team nationally. I come on with you and talk about them, but the buzz is not there. Most of the power rankings have the Bucs in the bottom third, if not the bottom quarter of the power rankings. You know, Vegas, for what it's worth, believes they're a 6 or 7 win team. But every year you have teams that rise up and rise above that, and let's see if the Bucs can be that kind of team. This team is an immensely offensively talented team, so that's not going to be an issue. So the question now becomes, do you play well enough on offense and get some defense and win some games?
Well, it's the perfect timing because Bruce Arians really wanted to come back. He's healthy enough to do it. He's got a little something to prove, I think. And it's Jameis Winston's last year of his rookie contract. So if he's ever going to really make it, this is the year he's got to do it. I kind of think it's going to be a good year for Tampa.
TJ, do you think Jameis Winston's better than Josh Freeman?
Oh, absolutely. And I saw them both.
Yeah.
Just from the standpoint of what they accomplished previous to the NFL and the decision-making in the throws, yes. And that's why Freeman washed completely out of the NFL after he left here and could not hook on anywhere else.
Who's the greatest quarterback?
In his late 20s now, unable to get an NFL job. So I would say yes on that. And by the way, I'm here, and they are still, I was hearing it on Dallas radio a little while ago. I mean, they're still up in arms on what's going to happen with Ezekiel Elliott.
I bet.
Is this one of those things where he gets signed next week and is available for their opener, or are they about to play the regular season without him and try to prove that they can do this without him? And here's another fun one for everybody that's drafting in their fantasy football league draft, which a ton of people are this week, this weekend, early next week. What do you do with taking him and how long? Because for one example, and we talked about this on your show, Wolo, is everybody kept thinking Le'Veon Bell's going to show back up last year. And so fantasy players drafted him, and he never showed back up. So that's a rarity.
And he apologized to him.
Who knows?
I mean, who thought we'd ever live long enough to see that?
Well, what are the fans saying in Dallas, from what you've heard, about Tony Pollard?
I think just listening this afternoon to the two hosts that were talking, they weren't taking calls. They were of the belief this is going to be an 11th hour thing where it gets done next week and he shows up and is in limited action against the Giants, or maybe is inactive for that game but ready for their second game. And remember, very famously, they won the Super Bowl in the early 90s, and Emmitt Smith held out in the next year.
For 2 games.
Same thing. No training camp, no preseason, said, I want a new contract. Jerry Jones was adamant we're not going to give it to him, and that's the example everybody keeps citing, and they lost the first 2 games. And when they lost the first 2 games, guess who got his money and was back for week 3. So let's see if this go around, if it pays off for Elliott to have waited this long and get his deal or not. But they're definitely concerned. And what do you do right now if you are the Cowboys? And what happens if they win? What happens if Tony Pollard is running well and they win the game against the Giants and the leverage for Zeke goes down?
What's the feedback on Tony? What are you hearing there? What are your coaches saying about him?
I haven't heard anything here as of yet about him, but obviously he did very well in the 3rd preseason game with the Texans as the dress rehearsal, and I'm sure Jerry Jones is privately saying there's an answer at the negotiating table that they will utilize him. They re-signed Alfred Morris, who had been with them before, who's knocked around a little bit and is in his late 20s in the NFL. So they've got a couple of guys they can hand the ball to. So, but if it's a mess, if it's not good, then that's advantage Zeke, who's a very popular player, to say the least.
Oh, no doubt. And, they offered him the second most money of any running back in the league. I got a feeling they're going to settle somewhere between what Gurley's making and what he was offered, and he'll come at the last second. I really do, and I think Tony Pollard will end up being really good for them. That'll be a heck of a 1-2 punch. Last thing for TJ Reeves, he gets ready to play some golf. You okay with Brooks Koepka Player of the Year? Because I certainly am, but some people thought the way that Rory finished and wins the FedEx Cup and did win the Players in March, that he could have been in, and apparently it was a pretty close vote.
Yeah, it's a good debate. And man, to be McIlroy and to be cashing that check after you cashed a $10 million check a couple of years ago for also winning the FedEx Cup, it's good to be him for the new year with the new money. And it was disappointing on Sunday. I'm sure you've already covered this part of it, that it wasn't more of a shootout with he and Koepka for the big money. Koepka just, whether it was fatigue from playing 30-plus holes on Sunday, which, again, he prides himself on being in the best or at least as good as or better shape than everybody, whether he wore down mentally, whether it didn't mean as much by the time he started missing putts, I don't know, but it never materialized as a shootout, and you got to give McIlroy a lot of credit for being able to win that and win that playoff event. And so, yeah, it is a good debate.
It's the exact opposite of what it
won. Yeah.
Both times they've had those two guys, the two best players in the world right now, in the final pairing, and both times the match stunk. Brooks beat the heck out of Rory in Memphis, and Rory beat the heck out of him in Atlanta.
Well, and that just goes to show that as much as we want to try to manufacture drama in whatever it is, you don't always get great drama. You can try to build it up and try to have the one game playoff wild card thing that baseball has, or have these golf situations where it comes down to two guys or whatever, fights in boxing. You hope that you're going to get a great one, and sometimes you get a dud. And Sunday it was not. It was only dramatic there for about a hole or two as to whether or not McIlroy was going to kind of let Xander Schauffele sneak back in and get it tied. And when that didn't happen on 16 and 17, it was his. Good for him.
My friend, go
we
and
should
enjoy.
all be so fortunate to have $15 million on the line for whatever we do, right?
Well, life's not so bad. You're staying at the Four Seasons tonight.
Go
You're
out there
about
and
to
act
go
like you're
play
playing for $15
TPC Las Colinas. Life's okay, my friend.
Swing hard.
We're gonna go hit a golf ball, have a good time. We got the preseason. I'm looking forward to all the college football. Now we got Tigers and Ole Miss. You're getting along,
Doing
right?
great.
Because we got Tigers and Ole Miss. It's Wednesday. That's not till Saturday.
We throw
You're still
down
behaving?
Saturday.
You're good?
Yeah, we throw down Saturday.
All right, the throwdown is Saturday.
Guess what? Neither of us has anything to do with who wins or loses.
TJ, if we affect the outcome of the game, guess what happens? We're probably arrested Saturday, and we probably lose job here and at the respective schools if we have a difference in the outcome of that game.
Yeah.
Because that means we ran on the field and did something really stupid.
It's still fun to debate and engage.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Let's see what the Tigers have.
Thanks,
I'm
man.
a Tiger.
You got
it. We know that.
We'll see what happens, boys.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. We got to take a break. When we come back, LSU picks front and center. How will the Tigers do? I think pretty good. We'll see what Drew and Brett think in just a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
The Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10. Only on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Dreaming of the coast? Wake up and run to Crab King Seafood. For the most flavored seafood and biggest plates, there's a Crab King's near you. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or the East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Top Memphis Food Reviews recently picked Crab King's as a winner in their top 10 category for 2019. Now you know what the King stands for in Crab King's. The price, the portions, the service is why Crab King's is #1. So don't dream of good seafood. Make the right choice the first time and every time. Make it Crab King's. Come and devour tasty snow crabs, king crabs, shrimp, salmon, catfish, calamari, and more. Enjoy Memphis' best tasting pasta with your choice of toppings. Visit the Bartlett Cordova location at 7140 Stage Road or the East Memphis location at 5992 Knight Arnold Road. Crab King's is open Tuesday to Sunday. Enjoy 50% off lunch portions and dollar fountain drinks and hang out with Crab King's for Friday night parties from 8 to 10. For more information, Google Crab King's Memphis or download the app for a free drink with every order. Crab King's, always a Memphis favorite.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden.
How do you like me now?
One night, Toby Keith, all the hits.
That was 1,452 beers ago.
With opening opening act, High Valley. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radiance, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. That's Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the Botanic Garden.
Yeah. So much rhythm. Babysitting your kids while they play the jazziest jazz I've ever heard jazzed is totally fine. But what's actually frustrating is the check you're handing me and the days it will take to clear. Next time, just send me money with Zelle.
Night out better. Pay your sitter easily with Zelle. Look for Zelle in your banking app.
Must have a bank account in the U.S. to use Zelle. Zelle is an early warning services trademark.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops this Labor Day weekend for the trade-in, trade-up sale. Trade in your golf balls and get $3 towards a new dozen. Trade in your shoes and get $10 towards a new pair. Trade in your golf bag and get $25 towards a new one. And get a 50% bonus trade-in on your old clubs. And remember, be sure and check out the new T-Series irons from Titleist. It's all happening now through Labor Day at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, serving golfers since 1968.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
What I'm saying is, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up. Y'all got to feel me. Sing if you're with me.
Welcome back, everybody. Nice to have you with us on this Wednesday, middle of the week. And you know that means it's just tomorrow. We got college football, big games. We got so many football games.
Good games Friday.
How many games on TV do you think we will have the ability to see just on TV? Now, don't count the ESPN Plus and the
on a given Saturday.
This week we got Thursday, Friday.
I'm gonna say about 5
Saturday,
or 6 games Thursday,
Sunday, and Monday
on something resembling, air quotes here, free TV because nothing's free. I mean, tons.
I think we have 50 games we could watch.
Oh yeah,
50. I remember it was Chris Schenkel in the Saturday game of the week. All right, you want to do LSU?
Let's do it.
Okay. You want me to start?
Go right ahead.
Georgia Southern, Baton Rouge. I don't think anyone's going to have Georgia Southern in that game. I think it's like a 30-point spread. We'll go with the LSU guys in that one. I think they're going to go to Austin, Texas, and lose, though. That's going to be a big upset. And Texas is for real with that quarterback now. Then they recover. They beat Northwestern State and Vandy and Utah State and Florida in Baton Rouge. They go to Starkville and win. They beat Auburn at home. They lose to Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And then they win the next 3. Ole Miss and Oxford, Arkansas at home, A&M at home. I've got them 10-2 and 7-1.
Drew?
All right. Win against Georgia Southern to start the season. Lose at Texas. Beat Northwestern State. Beat Vandy. Beat Utah State. Beat Florida. Lose to Mississippi State in Starkville. Beat Auburn. Lose to Alabama. Beat Ole Miss. Beat Arkansas. And finish out the year with a win at home against A&M.
11-1?
No,
that'd be 9-3,
9-3.
6-2 in conference.
Okay, I'm 10-2 like Dave, but I'm 6-2 in the league. Wins over Georgia Southern, Texas, in Austin, Northwestern State, Vandy, Utah State, and they're really good quarterback that's coming to Baton Rouge, and Florida before they lose for the first time of the year. Agreeing with you, Drew, they lose in Starkville to the Maroons, as Jack Crystal used to say. Auburn, they win. They lose in Tuscaloosa. I just got to see it to believe it that Ed Orgeron ever defeats or outcoaches Nick Saban. They win the last 3 of the year, so 10 up, 2 down, 6-2 in the league. And that Texas game, week 2, I've been hearing about Texas being back. I think you're really back when you have to quit telling people we're back.
I think they made statements at the end of the year last year that said.
No, wait a second. Wait, what statement they make, Dave? What statement they make? What game at the end of the year did they make a statement with?
All I know is they.
I believe those are called bowl games.
No, tell me the game, Dave, because you don't have one nice thing to say about a bowl game. So now you're going to say the Georgia win was a statement?
I'm just saying to you
because they lost the game before the Big 12 championship.
They got
game.
A good quarterback.
No, I want to hear that statement. Tell me the statement made.
They did play good in that bowl game.
Oh, okay. So it's convenient when the bowl games matter.
I don't necessarily base everything on a bowl game.
Nor do I.
Okay.
I don't pick and choose either.
Okay.
This is just like golf all over again.
It really
the rules only count when it matters to him.
A little bit out of bounds is out of bounds, Drew.
They lost in the Big 12 championship, but they played
When they sick
decent down the
Bevo,
stretch.
they stick that big old bull on that little dog down at the Sugar Bowl
come on
last
now.
year.
Give him a break.
He almost impaled him with that big old steer.
That was funny.
It was funny.
It was funny.
And what people, the mascot handlers have to learn something. Hey, let's take Uga over to meet Bevo. They're animals.
You don't want to take the little Uga
big win
because Bevo's got him by a lot.
I mean, all fun and games until the Pamplona and running with the Bulls breaks out.
So you don't think Texas got better at the end of last year? You don't think they found themselves a quarterback?
I do think they got better.
And I got to ask you one question.
And I like Sam
In
Ellinger.
all of these picks, have you got an SEC team? Because so far I don't think you have. Any SEC team losing a non-conference game?
Yes.
Which one?
We will pick it later today.
Okay.
When we pick Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's an obvious one.
Well, they almost beat them last year.
They did. This year it's in Clemson, though. If that's the one you're talking about. And I assume that it is.
And on conference superiority, people tell me bowl games are not an indicator of conference superiority. Okay. Regular season games, an indication of it.
Yeah.
If the SEC goes something in one, does that mean they were better than this one and that one and the other one?
Yes. Certainly. I'm not saying there's nothing to bowl games. I don't think it's just the be-it-all end.
I don't either.
A barometer.
I don't either.
And I do think it's
trash.
far removed from the regular season. I do
Always
think
has
in the
been.
regular season, that's a lot better
I think so
indicator.
Too. I think that
and
week
if
to
Texas beats LSU in week number 2 at home
in Austin,
then that is a big statement.
That is a big statement. Ellinger is that good. Who was it? It was big-time high school football game. I think Sam Ellinger's team defeated Kyler Murray's Allen team in the semis when they were in high school in
front of 30,000 people
or more. Yeah, I know it was. Greg Little played in high school at Allen with Kyler Murray, and he was telling me that matchup with Sam. He said it felt like an SEC game.
Could end up like an NFL game when it's all said and done. We take the break. When we come back, John Goen in the house, the star of digital newspapers now. Over 20 years of experience. That's what my man Matt Eflin's got. And he is the insurance guy now. He's 20 years, but he's still young. And let me tell you, he has really grown his business. It's amazing. He's got offices all over the place. The main one is in Bartlett at 8099 Stage Hills Road. And Matt Eflin's insurance approach is one-on-one. That's the way he does it. He likes to sit down with you and chat and evaluate each individual's insurance needs. And that could be business and that can be personal. And I mean, he does. He sits down and he'll grill you. He wants to know exactly what you got, what's important to you, what you really want to protect, where you're growing this and where you're growing that. He's very, very thorough. The number is 757-2315. Please call for quotes and, of course, that personalized service, 757-2315. He'll protect you. That's the Eflin Insurance Group out of Bartlett. Golf in a minute, the final show of the year. I can't believe that. Well, that's what happens with football. Close one door, open another. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
No matter what your past credit, no matter how much you owe on your trade, no matter if you tried to buy at another deal and were turned down, Sunrise Buick GMC can get you financed. There's never been a better time to trade. Sunrise has hundreds of new vehicles and over $5 million in used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. Sunrise has the lowest prices and will not be undersold. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com. The blowout sale going on now at all Sunrise locations, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Driving is freedom. The freedom to keep moving, to control your destiny, and to choose your path. And now, that freedom fits in the palm of your hand. It's called Ford Pass, the only app that gives you roadside assistance, Ford Pass rewards, And now, when you buy or lease a new Ford, earn points you can use toward flexible complimentary maintenance that gives you, well, more freedom. Ford Pass, built to keep you moving. Built Ford proud. Visit your participating Ford dealership to find out about getting flexible complimentary maintenance when you buy or lease a new Ford and sign up for rewards.
Roadside assistance is included for certain Ford owners and available to everyone for a per-service fee. Ford reserves the right to change program details without obligations. Visit your participating dealer or FordPassRewards.com for program rules and restrictions. Ford Pass, compatible with select smartphone platforms, is available via a download.
Yeah, so much rhythm. Babysitting your kids while they play the jazziest jazz I've ever heard jazzed is totally fine. But what's actually frustrating is the check you're handing me and the days it will take to clear. Next time, just send me money with Zelle.
Night out better. Pay your sitter easily with Zelle. Look for Zelle in your banking app.
Must have a bank account in the U.S. to use Zelle. Zelle is an early warning services trademark.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Final golf show of the year. Said goodbye to Ted Butler on Monday. We're going to say goodbye to John Goen from Timber Trusts here in a little bit, but we got you back, and it was a valiant effort by you this year. You had the lead most of the way in our pick contest. You were just victim to one of the great comebacks of all time. I guess is the best way I can put this. How are you, John?
I thought this was a football show today.
Virginia Tech Hokies. Tell us about them.
It doesn't even have to just be about Tech. I mean, obviously, there's a big game here this weekend that everybody wants to be able to talk about. But look, golf season's over, right?
Does Justin Fuente have to win that game?
We don't even have to talk golf right now. We've got one show to have a conversation about what everybody else likes to talk about, and that's football this time of year.
John, it's a little bit like going to the doctor and getting that very, very fatal diagnosis. It's worse than I ever imagined.
Just walking in, how does he fit through the door to come into the studio? That's what I want to know. It's difficult.
Very, very easily. I'm still quick.
Agile. Nimble.
Man, I tell you.
Who do we blame it on? Does it go back to Drew in Memphis?
Well, I mean, there was
We
definitely
did that to Drew.
There was definitely a part of that.
I didn't help with Patrick Cantlay last week. Ooh, man.
Look, there were multiple concessions made on Dave's account that we've hashed back up throughout the course of the entire year.
Let's be real here.
That's what it was.
We all know that there were multiple conversations as you go back through the podcast of you know what, let's just give him this. Right. So
look, felt sorry for him.
We were kind.
I threw a tournament.
You did throw a tournament.
For him.
That is absolutely a lie.
It's not a lie.
I
took one for the team.
I've seen the bank account.
He got on the right side of the Brooks and Rory matchups both times.
He did.
Got to know when to pick them. Actually, both of those. Well, the first one was I took. The second one, that was all that was left easier, because the guy in the other room there, he wanted Brooks.
Yeah.
He could have taken Justin, who had a 2-stroke lead on everybody.
Did you think Rory had that in him Sunday?
No. I didn't think Rory had that in him, period. I mean,
I didn't think Dave had that in him.
No, it was pretty surprising, But we've seen Rory kind of get hot at times and stretches, right? And when he finds it, and
he putted,
and so there was that side of it. I
think Rory McIlroy, for the most part, has been a great ball striker throughout his entire career. He's had some moments like that
infamous
hook on 10 at Augusta. Okay. And I do think that affected his career for a little bit. Although he won the next major. He won the U.S. Open after that.
On a soft golf course that you could hit it doggone near anywhere if you really wanted to.
Yeah, congrats.
Well, and the guy has a fabulous iron game. He does. It's been his short game, his putting, that was awful. And he was terrific this week. That's the bottom line. We were just talking with T.J. Reeves. Honestly, it's disappointing for golf that the two best players clearly now are those two, Koepka and McIlroy. And when they've gone at it at the end on Sunday, we haven't had a shootout yet. They've both been terrible. One of them's been terrible each time.
I'll agree with the Koepka statement. I still don't feel like that Rory is one of the best top two. I don't know who you. I can't.
Is it?
Well, I haven't necessarily thought a heck of a lot about it to that point. But
is Justin Thomas better?
When he was not injured, let's face it, Justin's year all revolved around his injury. Mm-hmm. So I think that there's definitely that possibility.
But wait. He won the tournament before Sunday.
Sure.
He shot he had a 61 in that tournament. His wrist wasn't bothering him.
No.
He had a 2-stroke lead on Brooks and a 5-stroke lead on
But if you look
Rory,
at his entire year, he was hampered by the injury going in. Now, granted, he got better in the latter part of the year, and he won a playoff event. But Rory, to me, is just still too streaky. We've tried to go down this road with Rory before, and so okay, great. He was great for a golf tournament. He got hot at the right time at the Tour Championship, which should be completely renamed. Shouldn't be called the Tour Championship anymore because they're not playing for the Tour Championship. They're playing for the FedEx Cup Championship. You should just rename the thing the FedEx Cup Championship.
I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. But let me just tell you, Rory won 3 tournaments this year, and he won 2 big ones. The Players, which is considered the 5th major, and he won the FedEx Cup. There's people out there that voted him Player of the Year.
Ridiculous.
I would not have done that. I thought Brooks Koepka.
Now he did win the Players Championship too. But
okay, fine.
It was good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He won 2.
What did he do in the other
tournaments.
Majors?
Not much.
He didn't finish second twice.
No. Miscut it won.
He didn't finish in the top 5 in the other one.
And Brooks won.
Didn't win a WGC event.
Brooks won the major, and Brooks won a WGC event. He won 2
and finished second place in 2 more majors, and in the top 5 of the other one.
I think was it 4th in the other one.
So it's not close. It's not even close with these people that want to argue about Rory being Player of the Year.
I agree with you. But Brooks, I think, only won 2 tournaments, right?
More likely to happen next year. Jordan Spieth closes that career slam with a PGA championship, or Rory McIlroy at the first major of the year. He closes the deal, and all the questions, not many, about his career status. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he closes it at Augusta. Which one happens?
Jordan Spieth. Even though they're both unlikely.
PGA next year at Harding Park in San Francisco. Of course, well, part of the TPC family.
Yeah, I was there for the President's Cup back in 2009. Actually worked the merchandise operation that week. It was crazy. I was out in San Francisco for 16 days getting ready for that event. It was a pretty crazy deal. But we've tried to go and again, down this road with Rory, and I don't see where he's going to have the ability. Rory was a favorite, or a heavy favorite going into Augusta this year, and didn't do really much of anything.
Here's the thing. I tend to agree with you because in the past, Rory has not putted well enough. His short game is not good enough to win at Augusta. There's a reason why that's one of the major that has eluded him. But if he putts like he did at East Lake, which isn't that far from Augusta, he can win.
Yeah, but Augusta doesn't have Bermuda grass greens either.
No. Nor does it have as much undulation as they do at Augusta.
Correct. Yeah, they don't get the speeds.
And in the
probably
name of the now late great Jack Whitaker and Gary McCord, don't call them bikini wax and don't call the crowd a mob.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, yeah, I would tend to think if either one of those is going to truly happen next year, I would pick Jordan Spieth winning at Harding Park and finishing than Rory at Augusta National. There's a long time between now and April.
All right, in the long run, will they make it? Even if it's not next year, will they both be Grand Slam winners? Because there's not many of those, folks. Not even Arnie Palmer.
You would
or
think or feel that there is a chance that Rory could get to that point. Again, we felt like, though, that Rory could get over this hump, over this mental issue, at Augusta National from years ago, but he has yet to be able to do it. By what you're saying, if he all of a sudden gets hot with a putter, sure he can do that. But I tell you what, right now, I mean, Jordan Spieth, I don't know what has happened to Jordan Spieth. I mean, I don't think anybody really knows truly what has happened to Jordan Spieth.
Who's in the worst place, Jordan or Dustin Johnson?
That's tough.
That is tough. I mean, you would think Jordan's in a worse spot because it's been going on for a substantially longer period of time.
And probably, I don't know this, but probably less drama off the golf course for him than for Dustin Johnson. So you wouldn't have that sidebar.
I think if you look at the makeup of those two guys, the biggest mystery is, as well as he's done, because golf's hard, but what's wrong with Dustin Johnson? Because if you just look at him, he should be hitting a pitching wedge to every green, whatever, even the par fives.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to unpack with both of these guys right now, and to your point, I mean, it's a similar conversation. I mean, obviously Dustin has a lot going on in his personal life right now, but has he also kind of hit a wall where he's got, in essence, the money that he needs, and is he losing interest?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Keegan Bradley's kind of had a bit of that. He's had a little bit of a resurgence, in the last couple of years, but Keegan Bradley was one of those guys. Jason Duffner's another one of those guys, kind of won his major, and
Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Walker's gotten sick though.
Yeah,
Jimmy Walker's got Lyme disease, and he's been battling that whole thing.
And I hate to say this, but Jimmy Walker was like always good in February and March, and never played well.
Kind of banked all his cash in the springtime.
Well, he won a PGA in August at
that's true. That's his one major,
wherever. But at Baltusrol. But, it's going to be interesting. I mean, look, we all know that really nobody's going to play outside of the WGC event in China. Nobody's going to be playing any golf anytime soon. So, everybody's going to have some time to maybe kind of get their house in order and then move forward as they look, into next year.
Tiger next year. We know part of the problem this past couple of weeks has been knee.
How many tournaments does he play in next year? Appeared in 9 this year.
I wouldn't say he appears in more than that.
Don't you have to play a minimum? Isn't there like 14
I think once you get to the exemption level in which Tiger is at right now, it doesn't really matter how many events you play in.
He calls the tournament director. He's in.
It used to be that you had to play. It used to be that you had to play in 15 events to maintain your eligibility.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
but
it snagged Jordan one year, didn't it?
It came close, a year or two ago with Jordan Spieth, where
to get into the playoffs. Isn't that what it was?
Well, it was to maintain his card or maintain his eligibility, his status, or whatever, because he played in 14 events, but one of the events he either withdrew from, or it was rain shortened and it didn't count, or something. But I don't see Tiger playing much at all outside of. I would say 9 might even be on the high side next year.
Do we see him in Memphis?
No.
2 weeks after, 2 weeks before?
First of all, he's got to become eligible to play in Memphis. At this point, he would not have eligibility.
Yeah, he'd been top 60.
Yeah, he would still probably qualify based off of
top 50.
Yeah,
he is at this moment. But if he only plays 9, he doesn't win. He wouldn't.
But if he plays well enough in those 9, he would be just fine. If he plays well again at Augusta, if he top 10s it, if he plays well at the Players, plays well at the PGA, that'll.
I wonder if he'll go to Hawaii.
No, the Tournament of Champions to
Kapalua in February.
Nobody goes to that golf tournament anymore.
I know. I don't understand that. They used to all want to go.
Yeah, they've got almost a record number of qualifiers for next year. I think 42 winners this year can go next year. I bet you their field won't be over 30.
Oh,
hey, it's the darndest thing I've ever seen.
It'll be the young guys.
Nobody wants to go to Hawaii for sports anymore.
No. It's too far.
It's too far.
It's beautiful. And that golf course is beautiful. I've played it.
And then stay and play the next week at the Sony in Honolulu. When we see you again, it'll be a Masters week. Shouldn't the Masters of the majors, shouldn't that be the easiest one for Rory to win as long as he is, as high as he hits the ball? I mean, shouldn't he already have one by now?
Well, he should have if he didn't fall apart, back, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
wheels came off.
Oh,
man.
Just as bad as Jordan Spieth's did the year he chunked it into
that was terrible.
deal on 12.
I remember watching Rory in a practice round on 9, hit the ball, at the bottom of that hill as you go into the green. It's a huge drive. He was past the catwalk where people walk through. He had to hit it like 370.
Could he have bombed it over them while they were crossing if he'd wanted to?
No, he would have hit it.
So 92, the first year I went to Augusta National, Fred Couples won that year. We went, it might have been my sophomore year of college. We drove down, a buddy and I. We went to Augusta Thursday and Friday. Friday afternoon, Freddie hits it into the crosswalk on 9 at the bottom of the hill, and the marshal has to stand over the golf ball so nobody walks on it. But the crosswalk, clearly Augusta National played shorter in those days, but the crosswalk was at the bottom of the hill. They raised it to the side hill walking up number 9 the following year so that you wouldn't run into that problem again.
Wow.
But Couples drove it down into the bottom of that hill.
They still run into the problem, though. They've been hitting it that far now.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's crazy.
All right, so what are your thoughts about Saturday? Saturday morning,
toss-up game. Going to be a great football game. Can't wait to watch it. I'm curious to see how the Memphis offensive line will control the girth of Ole Miss's defensive front. It'll be interesting to me to see what kind of pressure Memphis can put on a young freshman quarterback who did play 4 games last year. People forget that. He's got a little experience. It's not like he's walking into his first game. But they've got a revamped offensive line. They'll get new schemes everywhere, so they're all new. This could
a lot of new everywhere.
Do you like the new red shirt rule for the freshmen?
I love it.
To give them 4 games to be able to have an opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about? I heard a little bit, and I'm sure we're running out of time, but I'm going to ask anyhow, because of course my team has been affected by this dumb transfer rule and how you can get immediate eligibility and how you continue to have no eligibility, although people in a similar situation have been granted eligibility. It's absolutely the definition of stupidity, but it's the NCAA at the end of the day.
You had locker room saboteurs last year at Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. But, I still don't get how there's not a defined rule here or there as to how you can transfer and either be granted immediate eligibility or not, and how it cannot be black and white, because clearly the NCAA sets 0 standards for this, because this kid Brock Hoffman, who transferred from Coastal Carolina to Virginia Tech, moved because of his mother's health issue, moved inside of 105 miles or whatever, because he's from Statesville, North Carolina, has been denied twice now because immediate eligibility. Who knows the exact reasons why, because, again, it's the NCAA. But there are other players who have literally had a similar type situation happen who have been granted immediate eligibility to be able to go play. It's the craziest thing.
So the rule is you have to sit out a year unless there are special circumstances. And so the NCAA has to examine the special circumstances and make a decision based on that. And I don't really know the case
Right.
of the kid from
Yeah,
Coastal
no,
Carolina,
absolutely.
but apparently the NCAA didn't buy the reason and said you can transfer, but you're going to have to sit out a year. We were
think
just
there's
having this
something-
discussion. Sooner or later, there may end up being a rule that, and this is something Jim Harbaugh has spoken about, where he thinks you're granted a one-time transfer wherever you want to, no penalty, no
I
questions
picked
asked.
the wrong place. I want to go so-and-so.
Right. Now, if you do that...
That's more dangerous than the transfer portal.
Now, where are y'all on this? We're at 4 games now. Would you raise it to a 5th game?
No.
And you don't lose anything?
No.
No.
No. And I'll tell
I don't
you why.
mind the 4.
That's a third of the season.
The 4
Right.
is third of a season in case you've got injury. You're covered that way. And the second thing is, part of it is you want the kid to grow and see what the game is all about, and you want to see where this
What he's
kid
got.
is going to really fit in for you. I think it's perfect, and you don't lose a year doing that.
I thought it would be manipulated more toward the end of the year last year than it was. I thought there would be teams, especially kind of the better ones, the big operations, the big buildings, all the player personnel guys running around in all these buildings now, the people running around that a lot of people don't know what they do in the building. Imagine being able to afford that you've got that much staff, that they would pick and choose and hold guys back for big games, rivalry games at the end of the year. It was not as manipulated as I thought it would be.
I'm with you. I thought for sure where you're going to go, you know what? This kid's played twice. We know he's really good. Let's
fresh.
save him for this stretch. Sit him for
Right.
2 games, play him in this one, and then let's just save him. If we play in a championship game, what a bonus that is.
They have no
Nobody
tape
was
on him.
thinking about that.
No. It'll be interesting to see as we get further down as to whether more coaches do think about that.
Yeah,
But
because
to your
I
point,
think it's here to stay. The coaches love it.
the thing in
I
Blacksburg
love it.
was crazy. With those kids that were basically threatening the other ones that if you caught a touchdown, they wanted to throw the Marshall game so the bowl streak ended and everything else. I've never seen anything.
What's
or heard
happened
about
there?
anything.
Why has Justin Fuente lost this team?
I don't-
He came in here
Right.
and he was a hard guy. He had to, and he's responsible for changing the culture. I only have respect for Justin Fuente, but that was incredible how he seemed to lose that team because it wasn't the first year that he was here to change.
And the
this
reason
thing.
why it was no investigation, nothing illegal about it, they were trying to throw the game for no profit. They
Right.
wanted to throw the game for free.
Yeah, no. Look, I don't think Justin has lost the team. Look, Justin has gone through a lot since he has gone to Blacksburg, probably more than he would have imagined going through. Obviously had the great first year, made it to the ACC championship game, had a chance against Clemson to beat Clemson in the ACC championship game. Then had a bunch of those players leave early and go to the NFL. I mean, you had Terrell Edmonds and Tremaine Edmonds, the first brother duo to be drafted in the first round. Had a bunch of guys leave early. Has struggled finding a quarterback in Blacksburg. Has really,
And
truly
that's
struggled.
where he was always great. He had Andy Dalton and he had Paxton Lynch, and he was always, and even that first year, he had a junior college transfer that was going to originally come to Memphis.
Yeah, he had Gerard Evans, who was going to go, literally played a year, clearly thought more of himself because he never really made it into the NFL,
Right.
thought more of himself.
He left a year too early.
early.
That really hurt Justin.
Yep.
And Justin had some things against him. He had Frank Beamer right down the hall, and that can't help you.
Keeping Bud
Even though he's
Foster on
nice.
staff,
He
too.
had to keep.
Well, and
Bud
that's
Foster.
going to be
That
very
was
interesting
part
this
of the
year,
deal.
too, because with it being Bud's last year, there's a lot of where does this go? There's a lot of speculation as to whether potentially this is not necessarily Bud's choice and Bud's decision, but he is similar to Beamer. I think, just kind of at that point where he kind of gets the handwriting on the wall, so he's willing to kind of step out and be an ambassador for the school. But, it's going to be a very interesting year in Blacksburg, to say the least.
I always pull for the Hokies. I always liked Frank Beamer. I knew him at Murray State.
Yeah.
And, of course, I love Justin. So
Yeah,
I hope it's a
big
good year,
opener.
and it's a big game
At
for you
Boston
guys, for
College,
sure.
Saturday, 3 o'clock our time.
I think you guys are favored by
4 points, I think,
Yeah.
last I saw, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was 3.5 or 4.
Go Gobblers.
So this is it
The
for
Fighting
you. We
Gobblers.
won't see you, but we'll see you at Timber Trust. This is your last chance. Great story in the Daily Memphian. If you haven't read it yet, it's about the motorcycle thing that you
Yep.
talked about here.
Fin cycles.
The Fin cycle. I think they're really cool. I'm going to try them one time. I'm just letting you know that.
Come on
Check
down.
the liability insurance.
Wait,
Sean.
exactly. I don't know if I'm signing
That's
that
the great
waiver,
part.
though.
They get to
No,
just check all the boxes.
He makes me sign a waiver. I don't think I'm signing the damn thing.
Fun, great year with you. Thank you, John.
Yep. No, appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
guys. Look forward to next year.
And I'm glad there was at least somebody to provide me a little competition in these pick'ems.
Wow. Hey, Drew. Next year, seriously. I mean, there's no throwing things just because.
No, I'm not throwing nothing.
Right. Yeah.
You did.
I don't care. I don't care if it makes for bad radio. I'm gonna run him in the ground.
Well, look, we're not going to keep this into the locker room. If you throw it next year, we're coming after you. This is going to go out on the
Call an
airwaves.
FBI.
This isn't going to be in the locker room. We're definitely coming after you.
It's just incredible, the bitterness over this incredible comeback story. Thank you, John.
Thanks, guys.
We take the break. I'll let you know that our title sponsor for this the program's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, the perfect marriage of technology and service and assurance. And when I say assurance, 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, that's how much they know when it comes to cars and longevity. They know these products last forever. They do. Hey, even the certified pre-owns, #1 certified pre-owned car dealership for 11 years in a row. The product is just terrific. It's safe. I'm telling you, my Santa Fe, I can't even back up and hit something. And that's perfect for me. That's exactly what I need. Go see exactly what I'm talking about. Ask about shopper assurance. They've got that too at Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. Back in a minute, and Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal is going to join us. He's got the Tigers 10-2 in football this year. Wow. We'll talk about that. Oh, and by the way, the Tigers got another 4-star player today. We'll chat with Jason Munz in just a minute on Sportstime with Wolo and Stats.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
In today's evolving workplace, XMC understands the process of getting office work done has moved from the desktop to your pocket. The new Xerox multifunctional printers and Connect Key app technology are game changers. Are you working with confidential information? Does it need to be secure from unwanted threats? Do you need to translate documents to another language? Xerox's App Gallery provides solutions like secure printing and easy translator technology. XMC is the second largest exclusive Xerox agent in the U.S. with 9 locations to serve you. We've been in business for over 25 years and have received top awards from Xerox. In changing our world one experience at a time, our team's committed to doing what's right for your business. XMC is proud to be your leader in document and print management, and it'd be our pleasure to serve you. Contact XMC today at 888-814-3114 or visit our website at xmcinc.com. XMC, Excellence in Office Solutions.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Chevy. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has over 500 new vehicles to choose from with interest low as 0% and rebates up to $7,500. A $5 million used car inventory specializing in late model GM certified and cars and trucks under $10,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay. Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com or call us on the phone. Come in and see us, go online or call. Any way you do it, we'll save you money at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, partner. 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Find new roads.
Sir Edmund Hillary was the first person to conquer Mount Everest. The first time he tried, he failed. He was knighted by the Queen of England, and at the gala occasion, on the wall behind the head table, was a huge picture of Mount Everest. The people gave him a standing ovation for even daring to attempt the climb. When they ceased applauding, Hillary turned his back to the audience, faced that picture of the awesome mountain, and said, "Mount Everest, you have defeated me once, and you might defeat me again, but I'm coming back again, and I'm going to win because you can't get any bigger, Mount Everest, and I can." What an attitude. What a difference it would make if we would say when we face the mountains in our own lives, you may defeat me once, you may defeat me twice, but you're not going to defeat me forever. I'm coming back and I'm going to win because you can't get any bigger and I can. I'm Shane Stanford from Christchurch, Memphis. Remember, you matter.
Visit christchurchmemphis.org.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden.
How do you like me now?
One night, Toby Keith, all the hits.
That was 1,452 beers ago.
With opening act, High Valley. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radiance, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. That's Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the Botanic Garden.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops this Labor Day weekend for the trade-in, trade-up sale. Trade in your golf balls and get $3 towards a new dozen. Trade in your shoes and get $10 towards a new pair. Trade in your golf bag and get $25 towards a new one. And get a 50% bonus trade-in on your old clubs. And remember, be sure and check out the new T-Series irons from Titleist. It's all happening now through Labor Day at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, serving golfers since 1968.
Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Adios, old friend. Yeah, I've got no secrets and no regrets. Well, a lot of regrets, but the point is I've got nothing to hide. Kind of like the way Progressive shows you their competitors' rates. You gotta put it all out there, baby. Excuse me, miss. Does this heart belong to you? Would you like it anyway?
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparisons not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in, Wolo and Stats with you, cruising through our second hour. Coming up, Jason Munns in a second, and then we're going to make some picks on A&M and Auburn. I can't wait for that. David Kellum, voice of the Ole Miss Rebels. He'll join us at 5 o'clock. Chris Raby on baseball. I may have to leave early, by the way.
I don't know why, Dave. The Cardinals lost today. I told you they're never winning another game. If you lose in Milwaukee.
Oh, they lost? They finally lost?
If Cy Flaherty loses, you know.
Wait a second. Would you do me a favor? Can you go back and play what he just said in our very opening thing about
we know
how
what
the
I said.
Cardinals
I said they never win another game.
He said they never win another game, Dave. I don't know what you were listening
what I'm
to.
up against. What do you pay him? I'm serious. Is he on your payroll too? Besides the Flynn?
Now you're going to Drew's credibility. Drew wouldn't accept a bribe if I offered one. Would you, Drew?
It's incredible.
Not from you. You get everything for free. Now, Dave wanted something. I take cash.
All I know is you said just an hour ago, Dave, Cardinals are never going to lose another game, and Dave, maybe that was the jinx.
And I'm going through it too. We've had things stuck in our ear for a long time now. You about 40 years. And it's one of the first things to go when you start the aging process is the hearing you misheard me.
I'd have actually a very good comeback for that, but it's not appropriate. So I'm not going to say it. In the meantime, let's bring in our friend Jason Muntz, the beat writer for the Commercial Appeal.
Just crushing it.
U of M Hoops. Has he been crushing it? Seems to me he was on vacation all week and a half.
That was work.
Come on, he was at work. Son, I heard he got a big tan. I shot, what did you shoot, 7 over at the country club? What's the story, Jason Muntz?
Like more like at least. I mean, I'm nowhere near 7 over. That's you must be thinking of somebody else. Because 7 over is a dream.
You had to have fun, and
it looked fun.
I do want to get with you on your picks here because 10-2 for Memphis. We love that. I just read that in online on in the Commercial Appeal. But there is news today, and that is Isaiah Stokes has enrolled at the University of Memphis. So here's another 4-star guy. Can't play until next year. I'd love to get your take on that. But I want to start with the Bahamas, if you don't mind. And really, tell me, was the one team, the national team that apparently beat Texas Tech, was that a good matchup? Are we? Because everybody I'm talking with, we're just going to run through all this. This talent is the most amazing, and I'm just saying to you, sometimes you can have false hope because I don't think there was a lot of competition in the Bahamas.
There was not. You're absolutely right. I think that national team, I would put them in the bottom third of the AAC. I mean, they had some players. They had I would say at least 8 or 10 guys with D1 collegiate experience on that roster. We're talking at places like Houston, FIU, Norfolk State, and there are some. That's just off the top of my head, but yeah, they had some guys. I mean, and listen, we are still talking about these are games being played in August with a team that's essentially brand new outside of Tyler Harris and Alex Lomax, who are second-year players. Lance Thomas hasn't played in a year and a half. You got a bunch of freshmen out there, and you don't have James Wiseman or Precious Achua or Malcolm Dandridge. So while the competition was not very strong, Memphis wasn't at full strength either. So, I mean, I do think that it you should take everything that you saw, that you may have seen in the Bahamas, should be taken with a grain of salt. It's not going to be as good as it looked, and it's certainly not going to be grossly, worse than you might expect. So, I just think taking it with a grain of salt is probably the way to go. But there's plenty to be encouraged about. If you sort of dissect it with a reasonable and logical approach.
All right, Jason, kind of an amalgamation of all these, both yours through your experience of covering and watching games and knowing the sport, and I'm sure with your interaction with the coaching staff after the trip, maybe during it, and with the players, yours, team, and coaches, all together, what do you think coming out of the Bahamas, the number one, we got to work on this thing is?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say more than anything is probably just not getting too, sort of playing at a more even keel. I mean, they when they turned up the juice, they could really turn it up high. They were trailing. Memphis trailed after one quarter in 3 of the 4 games that they played in down there. They were losing going into the second quarter. And then in every single one of those games, they flipped the switch. They went to 11, in the second quarter. And the way I look at it is, if you can do that, why not just sort of try to level yourself out instead of playing at a 5 or a 6 in the first quarter and an 11 in the second quarter. Try and even that out, play at a 7 or an 8.
Just set that cruise control a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, too many ups and downs, I felt like. And, that's, if you can sustain that over a whole year, that's great. It's rare, but I personally would like to see just a more even keel about this team. And again, it was August. It was a bunch of freshmen, mainly a bunch of freshmen, and they were really, really rotating heavily, and so it's hard. It's hard when you're doing that to get into much of a rhythm. But that's probably the biggest thing that I saw.
And then there's also the future, and that is Isaiah Stokes enrolling in school today, and you got this young guy from New York who's come to play at Lausanne, and most people sort of put 2 and 2 together here and think he's going to end up being with the University of Memphis, and
it equals 4.
And I don't know.
Christian Brothers in Rhodes didn't bring him in here to go to school.
I don't know if that means next year or if because I believe he's actually the class of 21-22, but he could declassify maybe and go early. So Penny just keeps striking. What's your take on Isaiah Stokes?
Well, anytime you can add a 6'8", 6'9", roughly, he's a big body. He the last time he was listed at anything, he was 270 pounds. But I saw him with my own two eyes when he was on a visit to Memphis. I didn't actually get a chance to catch up to him, but I saw him, and he did not look 270 pounds to me. So
more or less?
Less.
Okay.
Like better shape, less. I mean, that's kind of been the knock on him since he came out of high school, was that he was just too darn heavy. I mean, he was recruited as an offensive lineman by football program, by like SEC football programs coming out of high school. So he was he's always been a big body guy, but it seems like he's sort of gotten that under control after he tore his ACL a couple of years ago and had to sit out that year at Florida. So I don't see where it can hurt to, I mean, that, if he doesn't play this year, which he probably won't, you're more than likely going to lose James Wiseman. You're more than likely going to lose Precious Achua. And so, you've got an older veteran type guy who can be a solid locker room presence. He's familiar with Memphis. He's familiar with Penny Hardaway, having played for Team Penny on the AAU side. And so, I mean, I like it. I mean, maybe Penny goes out and gets a couple more 4 or 5 star bigs this recruiting cycle. But again, even if Isaiah Stokes only averages 6 to 8 minutes a game, I think it's worth it, because I think he can bring a lot of different things to your program, and not just on the court.
What happened in Florida? What caused him? Now, this is a kid that was sought after in a lot of different realms, as you mentioned. He was an outstanding football player. He transferred from Lausanne, went down to IMG, was good enough at IMG to get a scholarship from the University of Florida. They don't mess around. And what happened?
Well, first things first, he showed up on campus. From what I understand, he showed up on campus as a freshman, hovering around the 300-pound mark, 290, 300, and that's not good. And then he tore his ACL, and so he had to sit his entire freshman season. He played in 26 games a year ago, no starts, and only averaged 2.7 points per game, which isn't, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at for a redshirt freshman. But Kerry Blackshear transferred, as we all know, from Virginia Tech, I believe it was, to Florida. And I think he could kind of see the writing on the wall. I think it was a combination of not only seeing the writing on the wall at Florida, but also knowing that Memphis had an opening. I mean, Memphis had a spot, had an open scholarship. And again, he's from here. He knows Penny well. He knows that he's probably going to have to sit this year, and there's going to be an opportunity for him next season. Whether or not he's able to seize it remains to be seen. But at least he will be given a solid opportunity here at Memphis. So I think it's a little bit of both.
How will they start next year? And I'm assuming Wiseman and Precious are going to start.
Oh, you're talking about lineup-wise?
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I think the biggest question is, I think it's fair to say that Damian Ball and Boogie Ellis are gonna start at the guard spot, and then James Wiseman and Precious Achua are going to start down in the front court. So the biggest question mark is, how do you want to go at the 3? Do you want to go with a more guard-minded, a guard-oriented offensive mindset, and start Lester Quinones? And start. Well, I'm saying, like, do you want to have like a better shooting outside perimeter attack and go with Lester Quinones at the 3, or do you want to have sort of a longer somebody who can give you maybe a little bit of both, inside and outside presence, and go with DJ? So I think that's going to be the biggest question mark. I think
what a
DJ
dilemma.
And Lester. Yeah, no kidding. I think DJ and Lester are both similar. They can both do good things for you on the rebounding side of things. Obviously, bigger. He's got the higher upside. He's probably more athletic than Lester, but I don't know. That to me is going to be. I feel like Damian Baugh, Boogie Ellis, James Wiseman, and Precious Achua are locks for starters, and then again it's it's a toss-up to me between DJ Jeffries and Lester Canona.
All right, last thing, football. You picked the Tigers just an hour or so ago, 10-2. I didn't see the breakdown of games. I read it quickly. I'm assuming you've got Memphis beating Ole Miss on Saturday?
I do, and it's funny you bring that up, and I feel good about that 10-2. I'm not scared, guys. I'm all aboard the Tiger train in 2019, and so yes, I have Memphis winning on Saturday. Now, publishing tomorrow morning, we're going to have a staff breakdown. We're going to get real specific in the morning at commercialappeal.com. We're going to give our score predictions. And we're even going to go a little bit deeper than that, or I am at least. And I'm going to give some very, very, very specific predictions about that game.
Look forward to it.
Because why not? Really? I mean, that's exactly
what the consumer wants, Jason.
Yeah, exactly. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I have them beating Ole Miss this weekend.
What's the score?
Yeah, 10-2.
What's your score?
Oh, you're trying to.
He's saving
you
it
want
for
me
Brent
to spoil
tomorrow.
it?
You're saving it for Brent tomorrow.
You want me to?
He's got bosses. He's got bosses. Don't do it, Jason. You got bosses.
I'll give you a hint.
We don't want you to get fired over this.
No. I'll give you a hint. I will tell you that the 7-member panel, our 7-member poll, I am the only one who has picked Memphis to win by more than 2 touchdowns.
What? Whoa. We were just talking in the break how close it's going to be.
Yeah.
Bold pick,
Listen,
Jason.
guys. I'm ready for takeoff.
Well, we'll see you Saturday.
All right, we'll be there.
All cleared for takeoff on Saturday.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Jason.
We appreciate it.
Jason Munns with the Commercial Appeal. He'll be there Saturday. We hope a lot of people are there, and it's a big crowd. I know people are getting a little bit scared of it as we approach, but hope we can get it up to that first number being a 5 Saturday morning bright and early at the Liberty Bowl Stadium. All summer I've loved talking about and telling y'all about the fresh shave I've gotten all summer from Harry's, that refreshing summer breeze I have felt all summer against my face after a smooth shave with my Harry's razor. One of the best ways to stay cool, and it's going to be hot out there Saturday, one of the best ways to stay cool is a close, comfortable shave with Harry's. Refresh your wallet and your face with blades as low as $2 each. Get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just use stats at harrys.com. Harry's believes you shouldn't trade great quality for a low price. You deserve both, and you'll get both with Harry's. They own their factory in Germany, and they've been making some of the best blades in the world for almost 100 years there. Speaking of 100, a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know, and they'll give you a full refund from Harry's. This summer, Harry's has a special offer for listeners of this show. New customers get $5 off a trial set from Harry's with code STATS at harrys.com. That means you get a razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping when you use code STATS at harrys.com. And when you run out, remember, Harry's replacement cartridges, just $2 each. When I shave with Harry's. You should as well. Go to Harry's.
And we take a timeout. When we come back, we will pick A&M. We will pick Auburn. And we'll see where the minds reside. That's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you ever noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing's not always right to replace your air conditioning systems. That's why we have financing options available. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system for as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems as low as $99 per month. Now, you could do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty, a free Nest thermostat, and with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
With everything happening downtown, it's great to know whatever you're going downtown to do, your choice for dinner is already made. It's 117 Prime. At 117 Union, Prime is the most centrally located fine dining destination in downtown Memphis, and make no mistake about it, whatever you're having at Prime, it is going to be fine dining. The chefs at Prime pride themselves on creating the best food you could hope for, all in the perfect location. No matter where you're going downtown, 117 Prime is an easy walk, but to make things even easier, Wednesday through Saturday, Prime offers valet service starting at 5 p.m.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops this Labor Day weekend for the trade-in, trade-up sale. Trade in your golf balls and get $3 towards a new dozen. Trade in your shoes and get $10 towards a new pair. Trade in your golf bag and get $25 towards a new one. And get a 50% bonus trade-in on your old clubs. And remember, be sure and check out the new T-Series irons from Titleist. It's all happening now through Labor Day at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, serving golfers since 1968.
Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. This portion of the show brought to you by the Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center. If you got hip pain, knees, shoulders, neck, or back, maybe you got problems with some sort of autoimmune disease like Parkinson's, anything inflammatory, you know what? They can come to your aid. They've been doing this now for a couple of years. I've gone through it. It worked for me. It worked for the doc himself. He became a patient as well as a provider, where he decided this was a group from California who did a lot of research. They take your own stem cells. That's the way it works. Painless procedure. They're harvested from your body, concentrated to their purest form, then injected into your joints while you're given an IV. I mean, it's painless. It works. It's non-invasive. 3 hours later, you're going home. And about a day or two later, you could be feeling a whole lot better. If you want to get back to tennis or golf or hunting or fishing or even playing with grandkids or gardening, whatever it may be, you've got another chance if you call Dr. Schrader with stem cells. 465-4300, 465-4300. That's the Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell Treatment Center. Okay, we got to go quick here.
Auburn and A&M.
All right. I've been going first every time. Does somebody else want to go, or I'm happy to?
Go ahead, Drew.
I'll go first. So we start with Auburn or A&M?
Auburn.
Auburn, all right. Winning week 1 against Oregon, beating Tulane, beating Kent State, losing on the road to Texas A&M, beating Mississippi State, losing to Florida, beats Arkansas, loses to LSU in Baton Rouge, beats Ole Miss at home, beats Georgia at home, beats Stanford at home, and loses the Iron Bowl. 8-4, 4-4 in conference.
I am almost exact with you. If I'm not exact, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I have 5 losses for Auburn. They lose to A&M, Florida, LSU, Georgia, and Bama. I'm 7-5, 3-5 in the league.
I'm 7-5, 4-4. I've got them losing right off the bat to Oregon, but then winning 2 in a row against Tulane and Kent State, losing at College Station like you guys, beating State, losing to Florida, beating Arkansas, losing at LSU, and then winning 3 in a row till the Iron Bowl and losing to Alabama. So,
I think they crush Oregon Saturday.
I got them losing.
Double digits and up.
Okay.
2 touchdowns and up.
We shall see. What's the line on that game? I know they're favorites.
5.5 or so.
It was like 4, actually.
A&M, you start.
All right, you want me? A&M, I've got them beating Texas State and losing to Clemson, then going on a nice tear, beating Lamar, Auburn, Arkansas, Alabama, Ole Miss, State, Texas, San Antonio, South Carolina, and then, ouch, here comes Georgia in Athens, and they got to finish in Baton Rouge. I think they lose their last 2, but a good year, 9-3 and 6-2.
You just breezed by that Alabama game.
Yeah. You want to explain?
They beat Alabama?
Oh, no, they lose to Alabama. I'm sorry.
You sent conflicting
Oh, no,
signals.
I'm sorry. No, they beat Alabama.
You're just going to breeze by that one?
No. I'm sorry. They beat Alabama, yeah. It's in College Station. That's
He said it so nonchalantly.
I didn't say that anybody was. You're right. I breezed by too quickly because
You did.
I know we're
We
in
need
a
a little
hurry.
more drama there. Come on.
So they're going to beat Texas State, lose to Clemson, win 3 in a row. Oh, and then they're going to beat Alabama.
That's what we want, Dave. Come on. I'm not with you there. I'm with you on the front end. Lose to Clemson early, lose to Alabama midseason, and lose the last 2 to Georgia and LSU. And there's no love loss in that A&M LSU game. Maybe A&M's first big rival in the SEC. They've yet to really carve one. 8-4, 5-3, and I don't think they play Clemson week 2 as closely at Death Valley as they did last year at Kyle Field.
I'm the exact same way as you, Brett. 8-4, 5-3 in the league.
All right, 9-3-6-2.
So you're going.
I'm a little heavier than that. You know what?
In College Station, they've done it before. No, they haven't done it there. They beat them at Bryant-Denny.
I just think this league is so tough that each side is going to lose one. You'll hear my Alabama.
And Jimbo has he knows Coach Saban about as well as any out there because he's largely 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
He wants to be, and he's got one national championship.
Mm-hmm. All right, that sets us up. We've only got left what? Alabama still to be done. Arkansas still to be done. Who else?
Miss.
Ole Miss. We haven't done Mississippi State. We haven't done Tennessee. We haven't done, and the University of Memphis. We have not done.
Getting down to the locals starting tomorrow, and we go east and west tomorrow in the AAC.
Yep. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Miramichi. Love Miramichi, and I played there last Sunday. It was just a phenomenal.
Won all the cash,
day.
too, didn't you?
I did well. But the course did well. The course is so darn pretty. Number 1 golf course in the state of Tennessee. I think you've heard me say that. And part of the reason why is they try to be better every year. 48 trees knocked down. Now you're seeing the results. Perfect greens and fairways that are now becoming more and more lush. That and the brand new machine they have to punch the fairways. So compaction and hard pan, that all goes away. And they're doing that every Monday. They are so on top of their game. And, of course, the golf course is just beautiful. It's like a walk through the woods. And it's not far. It's not in Millington. It's halfway. Memphis to Millington is a long way. Memphis to Woodstock is not. It's 27 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. It's 12 to 15 minutes from downtown, depending on where you live. Go check it out. You'll thank me later. Miramichi. There's a reason why every year it's voted the number 1 public golf course in the state of Tennessee. Back in a minute. And when we come back, we will be joined by the voice of the Rebels, David Kellum. He's next on Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. Sundays and Mondays are special at the Butcher Shop, celebrating over 35 years of serving the Mid-South by giving a big thank you to you, their loyal customers. You can come in, relax, watch your favorite games, and enjoy hand-cut steaks along with a premium bar. Sunday and Monday nights from 5 until 8:30, you can get select entrees for $25. That includes a salad, baked potato, and bread, and you don't have to pick one, you get all 3. Some of those entrees are 10-ounce New York strip steak, slow-roasted prime rib, Atlantic salmon with dill sauce, marinated grilled chicken breast, grilled boneless pork chops, and crab-stuffed shrimp. Plus, all appetizers and desserts are 20% off. Don't forget, Hamburger Friday every Friday from 11 to 2. It's the best. The Butcher Shop, always a Memphis tradition. Call 901-757-4244, 901-757-4244 for more information, or just stop in at 107 South Germantown Parkway in Cordova.
His wife's words echoed in his mind.
You never fix anything around here.
Well, today that would change. He would fix the water heater. He'd show her that he was the handyman of this house. He was more than capable. Oh, no. Covered it. August 14th, 2008. Talk to farmers. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Your Memphis Tigers football team opens the 2019 season against regional rival Ole Miss Saturday, August 31st. And tickets are on sale now, starting at $55 each. Get your tickets today by visiting GoTigersGo.com or by calling 901 678 2331. Or Tiger fans can still grab a 3-game package or a season ticket. College football is finally back. Memphis versus Ole Miss, Saturday, August 31st at 11 a.m. at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Sponsored by FedEx and ABC Local 24.
If you're an outdoorsman and love all things hunting and fishing, be sure to listen to Sports 56 Saturday mornings at 6 a.m. for Outdoors Today. Brought to you by The Gun Store, 6920 Winchester in Memphis. Outdoors Today is a 1-hour show hosted by veteran Mark Tobin and a group of respected outdoor-loving guests. Outdoors Today is dedicated to bringing outdoorsmen tips and techniques and tactics to help with your hunting and fishing in all seasons. Saturday mornings at 6 on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1 FM.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 66, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week, we will recap the Ole Miss game and get you ready for Southern University. In studio with us will be Andre Woods, and of course, we'll have some surprise special guests.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Come on, Muhammad, we hit fame. We easy with the deal, we get insane.
David Kellum will join us here in just a minute.
David Kellum, after I tell you about DeSoto Auto Sales, sponsor of this hour. They specialize in late model cars with low mileage, very high standards at DeSoto Auto Sales. All the cars are test driven, checked out head to toe, unlimited inventory if by chance they don't have it. They'll go out and find it for you. Every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they will go out and find that car for you, the car just for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales, where you walk in, treated like family, kind, courteous employees, laid back, down-home environment, no high-pressure sales. But they do care about your time. They know we're living in a world today that time really matters, and they want you to have the ultimate car experience. Walk in, deal with your sales rep, find the car you want, credit approved, paperwork done, all in about 45 minutes. We're living in a world today that time matters. They know it. It's that simple. Visit them online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience on Goodman Road at DeSoto Auto Sales.
For 40 years now, I didn't realize that until you told me this earlier, Brett, but 40 years now, in one form or another, David Kellum has been involved in Ole Miss broadcasts. I believe this is 31 years now on radio for football. Is that right, David Kellum?
31. Man. I know, man.
You're old.
It's amazing.
You are absolutely
well, that's
old.
The funny part. I tell everybody, I'm not really old. I just turned
You're not,
60.
David.
I just turned 60, so that's a significant number, no doubt about that.
You
but
see, you're in
when you start at 18, you know, and get 40, and that's pretty good.
That's right, David. And you're in between Dave and I, so you're right in between us. I'm 57. You're 60. Dave is 69, 70.
66.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. 66.
I know
Dave,
you know that.
Did he want to do that or what?
Yes, he did.
I didn't have to do that. Did he?
David, it goes back to bitterness about golf picks. It's that simple.
DK, I was saving this for Saturday, but I'll give you a heads up when at some point Saturday when we're kind of bringing you guys in, and Harry Harrison wore number 30 on the field. And last year y'all had that synchronicity. Old number 30 with you in your 30th year as voice of the Rebels. Yeah. Saturday with 31 being, I'm calling it the year of Freddie Joe Nunn.
I like it.
Old
That's
number
good.
31.
Old number 31. That'll work, no doubt.
As you enter this year 31, and this will be my 23rd for radio, but it's actually my 33rd year of broadcasting football games with the university and some basketball games because of the TV packages.
Coaches shows.
That I did. It goes back even further than if you're going to go to the coaches shows. But I can't remember a really more even buildup for a game than we've had for this one. It's usually Memphis hopes to be able to stay with Ole Miss, and I think this game is about as close as you could possibly get, but Memphis is favored by the folks in Las Vegas, who are usually pretty good about setting this thing up. So I think this is about as even a first game of the year matchup between these two schools that we've ever seen.
Yeah, and I think, Dave, with the gap, we haven't been playing every single year. The current players, there's only a handful of them that go back to even the last matchup. The
16.
Current players, probably aren't into the
Uh-oh.
There's some mystery, not only in the game itself, but mystery on both teams with all the new coordinators. In our case, we got a brand new quarterback, got a brand new offense coordinator. I mean, it's just new across the board. And I've been to practice. I've seen some things I really like. I think there are a lot of talented kids on this team. Obviously, Rich Rod and Coach McIntyre are incredible coaches, good people, but there's a learning curve that's got to be dealt with too. So you go into the game with a lot of mystery, I think is the right word. As far as Ole Miss and Memphis, it's always been a great game through the years, as we well know. Ole Miss has won the bulk of them, but Memphis has really done a nice job in several recent years, and so we'll see how it turns out. But this is a Memphis program that's improved dramatically, and I've talked about the fact that with some other interviews I've done before the season that the coach has done a great job, recruited really well in the Memphis area, more national appeal to the recruiting of Memphis too, and so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. If you go position by position, I think there is a lot of evenness in the game.
And David, through the years in this series, and we all know it well, and it's gone so far back as the opener for both teams. But we also remember it being kind of a Saturday night game in 2015. It was a Saturday morning game, and it took a little while for the Memphis Tigers to wake up. But, boy, when they did, they really woke up. I like it in the opener, and I liked it under the lights on a Saturday night. But this year it's going to be bright and early Saturday morning.
Well, you think about the good old days when Coach Vaught was at Ole Miss.
Coach Murphy.
He used to talk. Yeah, Coach Murphy. You talked about the game and wanting to be successful in the contest, and you're concerned about the first game and turnovers that you might have, and all of those things, and then you throw kind of the backyard rivalry element to it in there. And for years, it was a really good matchup.
You talk about the mystery, and you're right. I mean, you're talking about you've got two new coordinators, but so does Memphis.
Yeah,
but
right.
You've got a new offensive line. Oh, but so does Memphis.
Right. So you both fan bases and coaches alike, I think, are going to go into it with your fingers crossed, and you got high hopes, you got high expectations, and there's a little bit of relief for Ole Miss. You're back to a full number of scholarships. You had a really good recruiting class. You hope they pan out. How quickly do you have to use a lot of the freshmen? But some of those very same things are going on the Memphis side too. I would think both coaches, head coaches especially, are going in hoping it's a clean game. Don't give it away, make the other team earn it mentality. It's got the potential of being a really good matchup.
David, that is exactly my take on it Saturday from the Ole Miss perspective. To mix metaphors for Matt Corral, don't need Matt Corral swinging for the fences. Just hit a couple of singles and some Duck Snort Texas League doubles, and don't go out there and feel like it's completely on him to win the game. And I think Rich Rod and Matt have really coached him to play within himself in this opening game.
Yeah, no doubt. And Rich even told us in the press conference this week, though, the flip side of that to a certain degree, or the add-on, if you will, is, you know what? You're young, but it's on your shoulders. Sorry, but it is. And so there's going to be that level of pressure like it is on any quarterback, an experienced quarterback. When you're looking at quarterback room for Ole Miss, it's extremely young, including Matt. Thank goodness the rule popped up last year where you could get 4 games in and play a little bit, and he's got that in his hip pocket. He's a very confident quarterback, very skilled quarterback, and I would think that he'll do a wonderful job, but that lack of experience still kind of glares at you.
I've done several of these games now, and I've never seen a makeup of a roster for an Ole Miss team like this one. Seriously. Both backup quarterbacks are true freshmen. When I look at your line, there's only one redshirt player on your offensive line. That is unheard of. I've never seen an SEC team like that before. And then, possibly because you don't have very many redshirts at all, you have to bring in junior college transfers. This is a different setup, And we all know why. It's because what happened with the NCAA. But the bottom line is this is a whole different sort of look, which, I give Matt Luke a lot of credit. I mean, he goes, I'm going to get some really good coordinators because I got to really coach them up this year.
Yeah, you want to be maxed out, Dave. I think as far as the coaching standpoint, I don't think there's any mystery in that part of it. I mean, these are extremely successful coaches, not only the two coordinators, and people sell Matt Luke short, in my opinion, a lot of times. I mean, he's paid his dues. He spent time at Tennessee. He was with Cutcliffe at Duke. He's been at Ole Miss a long time, and he's a very heady X's and O's coach. And then he surrounds himself with two really good coordinators. And then you look at the experience. If you just add up years and the experience of those other position coaches, it gets up there pretty good. So you feel really good about this staff and how they're working with their individual units. But I bet you to a man on the staff, and on both teams, you're just concerned that, okay, I don't want my guys to make a mistake, glaring mistake. Let's get where we're supposed to be. Let's do what we're supposed to be. Don't put the ball on the ground if you're on offense. All those things you go in that first game with a lot of mystery, but it's just there, I think, for both teams. I think both of us can back off and say, hey, we got a chance to have a really good football team. Mm-hmm. And you kind of wish you could play somebody else before there's a Memphis-Ole Miss matchup out of the gate. But it'll be great for college football fans, no doubt about that.
The winner Saturday will feel really good about itself going to bed Saturday night and into the rest of the year. We're visiting with David Kellum, starting his 31st year as voice of the Ole Miss Rebels, and I can't wait to be with you Saturday, David. And through the years in this game, there's been so many stars, and I don't even want to go way, way, way back, but just in the 21st century. I mean, the show that Eli Manning and D'Angelo Williams put on in the 2003 game to the Paxton Lynch, Anthony Miller show a few years ago here, and plenty on the Ole Miss side. Do you have a favorite Memphis Ole Miss memory? Because one of mine is 40 years this year, and it was the first time Buford McGee touched the ball and scored a touchdown in the 79 game.
That one is pretty much mine too, Brett. It's kind of interesting you bring that up because Buford was such a highly recruited player, and when Ole Miss secured him, everybody was so excited about it. Then he just exploded onto the scene in that game. There's been through the years, not particular games, but just some incredible plays for both sides in the contest. And but yeah, Buford's effort there was phenomenal. And you look at Memphis versus the Mannings, Peyton and Eli. Both have taken a while.
They got their number.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing.
I guess if you're asking me that too, it's Ryan Ross Kelly, first time ever in Oxford,
and that weather that day. I know y'all remember it. I mean, first quarter, and before the game, tornadoes. I mean, literally
knocked out the glass in the press box.
Yeah, the air pressure sucked the glass in.
I walked in the press box, and Langston Rogers was white as a ghost. I said, "What's wrong,
Panic
Langston?"
mode, wasn't he?
He goes, "We're lucky to be alive, boys. We're lucky to be alive."
Yeah, if we had been assembled there, somebody could have been badly injured, and then that front blows through. By the end of the game, it was about 30 degrees.
Yeah,
right.
I'll just never forget seeing some of the old timers that were part of the Highland 100 that were in the end zone, right where Ross Kelly made that catch, and they were literally crying. They were so moved and happy. And then I must say, the game in 15 was special. It really provided Justin Fuente with the new job, and it provided Paxton Lynch with the status of becoming
impactful game.
A first-round draft choice. Because I don't think either of those things happen without that demonstrative win at the Liberty Bowl.
And David, you go far your entire life there in Oxford, and Coach Vaught and Coach Murphy, their personal friendship, their kinship. I mean, I would almost say best coaching friends. I mean, played a ton of golf together. Their families traveled together. They were best friends, and Coach Vaught loved this game. He loved it in Memphis, and he said forever. He said, one of these days we're going to lose to him. And finally, in 1967, here in Memphis, 27-17, they did on a. I think Nick Pappas ran a touchdown back that night. He was an advocate for this game, and it feels like, David Kellum, this one could be the last one for a while.
Yeah, possibly so, and I have mixed emotions about it. I think the dynamics of of scheduling has changed so much and all. But here's the bottom line with it: you think about if you're looking at the fans. Okay, from a Memphis point of view, I looked this up the other. 5 of the top 9 crowds in the Liberty Bowl for Memphis are against Ole Miss. That speaks volumes. Tennessee is the other 4. Mississippi State's up there heavily as well. So obviously the Memphis fan base would like to see those games continue because they're responding to it in an incredible way. But Memphis has also taken a step forward where maybe that's not as needed. I don't know about attendance for certain games, but they've been very effective in the current conference. And you look at the national attention on the University of Memphis's current football program, and possibly going undefeated if you can beat Ole Miss and move down the road and all these things. That's a different type of talk around the Memphis program, in my opinion, from a distance looking in. And I think it's good. So should you continue to play in some form? Should Memphis continue to try to grab some of these area SEC teams if they can continue to work deals? I would say yes.
I would say this. You go back to the early days with Spook and that relationship, and Memphis owes a lot of their success in football, period, to that relationship with Vaught, because they played him.
It was a good friendship.
They
both parties.
opened up the door for Memphis to play them, and if they hadn't had that relationship, and by the way, they'd play golf together a couple of times a week in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
They were buds. I once saw them playing at Holiday City many, many years ago because
loved to go down
Clay
there.
Harrington was buddies with him and played with him.
And David Kellum, I want to say that Coach Murphy and Wobble Davidson, a venerable Ole Miss official, for those that don't know, longtime assistant coach and administrator years later, I want to say Coach Murphy and Wobble served together in the South Pacific in World War II, that they were really tight.
They may have. I don't know that one, but they may have. I can see that. I could definitely see that. I used to love Wobble. Wobble, once he retired, guys, he would come to our office. He lived just right off the square, and we had our original radio station offices on the square. He'd swing by, get a cup of coffee, sit down at my desk, talk to all of us. He was the nicest human being. Wonderful. Loved to pick his brain. And finally, I got brave enough after about 5 visits with Wobble. I said, Coach, I didn't know you back in the day when you were out there dealing with these football players, but to a man, they were like scared to death of you. He said, David, I'm a changed person. And so apparently he was pretty rough when he was dealing with all those players years ago, but I miss him and get to visit with him.
Colorful history.
But that it's changed the business. It's a business now. It's changed. It's not as relationship based.
Look, we've thrown Nebraska and Oklahoma overboard, in college sports.
Yeah. And
well, I think too the head coaches, Dave, may have had a little bit more influence in scheduling. When they walked in the room, they probably could say, "This is what I want to do." Not that they don't still have some input, but it's kind of shifted into what conferences want.
Exactly.
What the NCAA thinks you should play, what your AD thinks are going to be the best schedule. So they kind of lost maybe that to some degree.
I think that's true. And now, unfortunately, also the distinction of Power 5 and Group of 5, although they hate us when we say that. But there is
you're right.
there is a distinction, and I guess I could say those that make 40 to 50 million, and those that Memphis lucky to get 8 to 10, and that's much better than anybody else in the Group of 5. But now Memphis is to the point where they're probably most likely, if we do deals, are going to have to go 2-for-1s, and that's unless the dominoes fall again, that's where Memphis will have to be in order to survive,
or have that basketball hook, David.
Yeah, and that's an element with the Ole Miss piece, too. And I don't want to speak for our AD or future AD, and Keith Carter's in the interim now, but he's obviously a basketball guy. And if it works out where he continues to be the AD at Ole Miss, and I think he would do a tremendous job if it works out for him to do that. He's going to be very sensitive to the basketball side of it as well. And, Kermit, he's one of those, I'll play anybody anywhere, and he knows the value of great matchups, too. So it'll be interesting to see how that piece fits in, at least from an Ole Miss-Memphis relationship in the future.
Football's so powerful, I don't know if basketball has the cachet that it used to in order to use as a bargaining chip. I really don't. Because if it did, I would say Memphis should use every chip they got to try to get all the. I'd love to see Memphis play you guys in Arkansas and Tennessee and Mississippi State. Not every year, but on a regular basis, as often as we could. And that makes just regional sense. But that's not going to happen. David,
we don't get to go to that meeting, do we, guys?
No.
No.
We get left out of that meeting.
We gave our 2 cents, though, didn't we?
But we are glad
we
you
did.
guys.
We
you
did.
guys
and
are.
Like I said, I have mixed emotions about it because of who is it as important from an Ole Miss standpoint, yada yada yada. But the truth of the matter is, because an old school guy, I've always loved the regional matchups and the extra fodder that's kind of thrown in there with those matchups.
And by the way, you'll be in Memphis twice this year.
I will. In fact, we're going to be twice, and my engineer, Houston McDavid, who is a dear friend of Brett and myself, was there today to set up. I said, Houston, dang, this is early, man.
Wow.
He was there Wednesday.
He
wanted to get it set. I think he's got 2 other remotes. He's the most stretched out engineer in America.
I've told you about him.
He went out there, he sent me a picture of the Liberty Bowl. I was like, oh, sweet.
He's great.
My question was there anything turned on? Are the lines turned
I
on?
don't know. Is the booth still real small? We in a phone booth, kind of small booth?
Yes.
Actually,
the way it works is you're closer to the 50 than we are. And it's not a
Oh,
bad
really?
vantage point, but you've got a very small booth. And you are, I think, Jarvis, I don't know if he's right about this, but he claims that we're 17 stories high. It's the highest press box in America.
It is up there. It really is.
If you want to see numbers, buddy, you better bring glasses.
Bring those binocs.
We
for
got
sure.
spotters, don't we, David?
We do have spotters. I'm fortunate to have 2 spotters. I don't know if we can put them in that room. I think it says capacity 3 in each one of those booths, so I don't know about that.
Bigger than that.
That may be kind of hard to do.
You can get 4 in there. My friend, safe travels. We'll see you on Saturday in the press
Hey,
box.
great talking to you guys, and looking forward to seeing you, Dave, when we get to Memphis.
You got it.
Thank you,
This is
David.
David Kellum, longtime voice of the Ole Miss Rebels.
And you could hear it in David's voice. There will be some of me Saturday, regardless of outcome, leaving there. Of course, I'll be back to the Liberty Bowl Stadium for our Tigers games, for our AutoZone Liberty Bowls. But there's some of me Saturday that it will hit. It hit me last year at War Memorial, leaving Little Rock, that this could be the last time for this game for Arkansas and Ole Miss in Little Rock. And Saturday,
because they're going to play that in Fayetteville from here on out, right?
Yeah, and Saturday it's going to hit me at some point, and it's been a big part of my life, and I love that stadium, and I am an
never say
advocate
never.
for that game.
There
I
could
know.
very well be, not on a regular basis, but there could very well be a series that will be reenacted. At
I
some
sure hope
point.
so.
I do too. And I'll play 7th game of the year, first whatever game you'll give me. Let's do it.
So I've said I want it opening weekend and at night, but I'll take it anytime.
Well, the amount of times that Memphis has played Ole Miss, it's like the 3rd or 4th most you've ever played against anybody.
It is.
It's so there's history and
Tons.
tradition here.
And I don't know
and
why
we've
people
given away stuff. I hate it that we don't. I can't believe I said this, but Southern Miss. That I think they played Southern Miss more than they played Ole Miss.
Yeah, I think Saturday will equal Southern Miss in all-time meetings between the Tigers and Ole Miss and Southern Miss.
It will either equal or be very close, but this will be the 32nd time both teams have started the season against each other. The only other team Memphis has even gotten close to starting the season with that is Mississippi State with 14.
Yeah, started playing, I'm going to say met for the first time on opening day in 49.
And
1921.
Wow.
On opening day in
Opening
21?
day. First week of the season, 1921.
The new deal, too, with Mississippi State, I don't believe it's a first game, is it?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And Ole Miss has played just about everybody in SEC at one time or another, either in Memphis or at the Liberty Bowl. It's been a lot of games against a lot of teams there. Even one time in late 60s, early 70s, opened in Memphis against North Texas.
North Texas.
In Memphis.
At Crump.
No, at the Liberty Bowl.
At the Liberty Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Huh.
And was the first. Ole Miss was the first SEC team. Well, in Auburn, they were in the first AutoZone Liberty Bowl when Bud moved it here in '65. That was the first Memphis Liberty Bowl Ole Miss and Auburn.
Nice text from somebody on the First Bank text line. Coach Vaught and Coach Murphy played in the Colonial Country Club member guest in the 70s. They were good
legendary
buddies.
team.
And that's really and truly when relationships really went a long way more than business.
And David Kellum touched on that. Now, and it's not any blame game, but now the scheduling's not done by the old football guy anymore. And he's right. Both of those very straightforward personalities could walk in and tell any administrator, we're playing Ole Miss opening day. We're playing Memphis opening day.
And now you got to go through the commissioner and your AD
TV.
And your marketing guy and, of course, ESPN and everybody else. Somebody also wants to know, special teams, I don't have a clue on kickers and punters or special teams. Everybody's back, actually, for both sides.
That's right.
The kickers and the punters are both back. Now, the returners are different. In fact, your main returner
got hurt in the opening game last year, but he will be back this year, Jalen Jones.
But I don't know if he was on the depth chart as the number one, was he?
He'll be back there.
And then Memphis was going to have Chris Claybrooks, and so that's been changed. So
you had a big opening,
and it's not Tony Pollard. I can tell you that.
Had a kickoff return last year against Texas Tech, and then got hurt later in that game from friendly fire.
Is that the 94 yards? The guy that returned it? Yeah, he is number one on the depth chart. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk some baseball. This is the segment I'm not looking forward to.
Why, Dave?
Because the St. Louis Cardinals have just been
They're never
on
winning
fire.
again. They lost today.
You're such a jump off the bandwagon.
Cy Young Flaherty loses, it's over.
Good day.
You got Hendricks going tonight?
No. Did you see Cole Hamels, though? Left the team for paternity leave. I mean, that's bad planning. He should go. I mean, you should go for the birth of your kid.
You can't really plan those things.
Well, you're supposed to. My mother planned it. She knew exactly when that baby was coming, and then 3 years later, boom, boom. Come on.
Times have changed, Dave.
Hamels should have planned this much better. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Levi's and JCPenney say welcome back. Back to school, back to friends, and most of all, back to big savings. Because right now, you can score 40% off men's and women's Levi's jeans. That's right, 40% off. But you better hustle. These savings won't last. So get to your nearest JCPenney store or jcpenney.com today and get the Levi's you love for less. Offers and coupons do not apply to Levi's. Exclusions apply.
Family Leisure is celebrating the end of summer with the appropriately titled End of Summer Liquidation Sale. You can get pools for as low as $19.99, patio furniture starting at $12.99, and swim spas, they begin at $99.99. Don't forget to ask about fast installation because there's still enough summer left to enjoy these deals during the End of Summer Liquidation Sale happening now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together. Are you tired of all the clouds and bad weather? Rain brings pollutants that can wreak havoc on your car's finish, but there is someone who can help. Car Wash USA Express has introduced their most advanced car wash yet with the exclusive Polymer Pro Wash, creating a stronger, more consistent protective sealant for your car's finish. Polymer Pro can only be found at Car Wash USA Express, where attendants are always on duty to keep you and your vehicle safe. For more information and locations, visit carwashusaexpress.com. Car Wash USA Express, because a dirty car is a dirty shame.
Your Memphis Tigers football team opens the 2019 season against regional rival Ole Miss Saturday, August 31st. And tickets are on sale now, starting at $55 each. Get your tickets today by visiting GoTigersGo.com or by calling 901-678-2331. Or Tiger fans can still grab a 3-game package or a season ticket. College football is finally back. Memphis versus Ole Miss, Saturday, August 31st at 11 a.m. at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Sponsored by FedEx and ABC Local 24.
Hey, Tiger fans, this is John Stacy of the Blue and Gray Show. You can hear Drew Barrett and I talk Tigers with Tigers every Sunday at 5 right here on Sports 66, 96.1, and 87.7. Drew, who do we got in the studio with us this week?
This week, we will recap the Ole Miss game and get you ready for Southern University. In studio with us will be Andre Woods, and of course, we'll have some surprise special guests.
Thanks, Drew. We'll be here Sunday on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. The Blue and Gray Show, where we talk Tigers with Tigers.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Cruising through our final hour on this Wednesday. It's brought to you in part by Russell Brothers Jewelry. You know, that's Bill Russell's place. He's been the same place for 34 years, so almost 35 years now. 4646 Poplar, A-plus rated member of the Better Business Bureau, never a complaint. Why would you complain? The guy's there. He's going to greet you with a smile at the door. He's going to show you some beautiful jewelry, finest in diamonds and colored gemstones, all set in a choice. And you got the choice of white gold, yellow gold, or platinum. And we're talking rings and bracelets and earrings and pendants. And then if you want to just talk, that's good. He loves talking food. He loves talking travel. He loves talking gemstones. He really does. He'll explain where each piece came from, different country, different part of the world, really how it was formed. I mean, he's so knowledgeable. You'll love it. And a complete service department, repairing fine watches, family heirloom jewelry. You can trust him with it. He's great. Custom design. He's a specialist there, too. Oh, insurance and estate appraisals. He's your expert. That's Russell Brothers Jewelry. That's 4646 Poplar Avenue, Poplar and Perkins, in that area. And they've been there for a long time. So here comes Chris Raby. I'm sure he's in a good mood, although the Cardinals did lose today. But they've been unbelievable. Flaherty has been like Cy Young Award winner. I wasn't sure if they'd ever lose another game, but they'd lost today. That gives the Cubs a little bit of a chance, but the Cardinals seriously have been brilliant. Chris Raby, how are you?
I am doing great. How are you guys doing?
Why are you so great?
Well, you know, had a good day.
Got a post game in the
Cardinals
books.
lost, but taught my second course as a college professor earlier today. Did a little Cardinals post game. Now talking to you guys, getting ready for a little sports. Open line.
Let's go back. You taught.
Where are you teaching, Chris?
Your course? What are you teaching? Yeah. What
I'm
new?
teaching at Webster University in St. Louis in their communications and journalism school, a sports announcing class.
So you're Professor Raby?
Yes, sir.
I'm impressed.
I had no idea.
You know, I'm glad you said that, and you know, you can just introduce me as such moving forward.
The prof,
well, Professor. Welcome aboard. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Are you enjoying? How many weeks in school are you?
This is our first week, so we've had 2 classes, and we'll go all fall semester. So it's been great so far. It's the first time the university has offered this course. They've got a great communications and journalism program, but I got connected with them, and I developed this course with them over the last few months and over the summer, and we're off and running, and we're going to be doing a ton of play-by-play and broadcasting and other hosting and interviewing, and have a ton of guest speakers. My buddy Chris Kerber, the voice of the Blues, came in today to chat, which is funny because his first job in pro hockey, or I guess minor league hockey, was in Birmingham, Alabama. And even before he started doing play-by-play, he was in Birmingham. And, you know, we were talking about me getting the start in Memphis and how I landed that job and, you know, starting doing some updates and running the board for Fish and Weinberger in the afternoons. And it's been cool. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, it's a totally different experience for me, and, you know, I'm loving every minute of it so far.
Also, former voice of the Covington Chargers, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. Covington Chargers, DeSoto Central, Austin Riley, and also did a year of Briarcrest football with Peter.
Mm-hmm.
So you're teaching play-by-play tenants, like how to make charts, rhythms of the game, or are you teaching how to give updates, how to gather information, use sound bites? Is that part of the curriculum?
So it's a practicum course. So we're going to be developing as a class a weekly podcast that'll teach them interviewing and hosting techniques, as well as editing, planning, storyboarding, producing. And then we're going to start, doing local play-by-play and getting our toes in the water, and then relying a lot on self and peer critiques. And then by the end of the semester, they're going to be announcing Webster University basketball that will stream on the Webster site. And then the goal is by the end of this semester and all the hands-on experience they've accrued, Webster will have a stable of announcers for their sports every semester and every school year.
Wonderful. That's great.
Very nice.
That's got to
it'll be good.
It'll be fulfilling for you too, because you'll care about these guys and gals.
Tonight for the Cubbies, they send Kyle Hendricks out there, and that's a good way to get some momentum going after a win last night. But the Cardinals have been hot to get to this lead in the National League Central. The rest of the way, and a lot of it will be decided by those head-to-head matchups between Cardinals and Cubs at Wrigley and at Busch Stadium. But the rest of the way for the Cardinals, I think it is from here on, Goldschmidt, Ozuna, and somebody else. They have to be red hot.
Yeah. How about Colton Wong at the top of the order? I was so glad to see recently, and again, not that I would stack my baseball acumen against Mike Schultz, but it was nice to see Colton Wong get rewarded for what he's done all year, and especially over the last couple of months, and move him up in the order, have Dexter Fowler first, Colton Wong second, and really stack your lineup by on-base percentage so that those guys are on in front of Goldschmidt and Ozuna and DeYoung and even Yachty, who's been red hot. And, we've seen the Cardinals be able to score runs now, in a variety of ways. And, today, notwithstanding, Jordan Lyles was great, and they'll take 2 out of 3. But we've seen them not just rely on solo home runs. It seems like, Brett, so much over the last couple of years, it's been a lot of solo home runs, and they've lived and died with home runs. But they've got speed on the base paths now. They grade as one of the best all-around base-running teams in baseball. I know that sometimes when you see a game like last night and a couple of blunders by Carpenter, maybe you bang your head against the wall, but they're just doing everything really well right now. They're getting great starting pitching. The bullpen has been one of the best in baseball year long. And, the Cubs and Cardinals, we've talked a lot about some of the deficiencies that they've shared. And I think today could be a perfect example because Jack Flaherty goes out. He gives up 3 runs, 2 earned, an uncharacteristic error by Wong in the first. And then the Cubs have Kyle Hendricks tonight. Flaherty today closes the month of August with 38 innings pitched and 3 earned runs given up. And 2 of them came today. But he's 8-7. And the Cardinals don't always win when he's on the mound, even if he's spectacular. You know that there's only one pitcher in the National League who receives less run support per 9 innings than Kyle Hendricks. That's Sandy Alcantara on the Marlins. Miles Michaelis receives the 4th fewest runs per 9 innings of any National League starter. Flaherty, the 8th fewest runs in the National League of any starter. So that's another shared trait the Cubs and Cardinals have had, especially going against Noah Syndergaard tonight. I'm really eager to see what the Cubs do, and if their offense can carry, some of the momentum from last night that they put up against the Mets and Stroman into tonight, because Hendricks has been on a lot of ends of losing games like Jack Flaherty this year.
I'm hoping there's another similarity that you sort of drew on earlier here, and that's Colton Wong. How about Addison Russell, who I thought might not be back in a Cub uniform when they sent him down, and he's come back and he has helped. And it's interesting because we were talking about who should the Cardinals get rid of around the trade deadline, and I was thinking the only person that might be of any kind of attractive property would have been Colton Wong. And I think both of you guys said, well, what can we get for Colton Wong? And so now he's paying dividends for you. Maybe Addison Russell will be the same way for the Cubs.
Yeah, and I think that, Wong, just for him on a moment, if he can, I don't think he's going to put up a 450 on base percentage the rest of his career like he's been doing the last few months. But if he can hit 260, 270 with a 350 on base percentage with his defense, that's an all-star second baseman. That is absolutely an all-star second baseman. And I know with Russell, there are a couple of different factors because of what's gone on for him away from the field and some of his issues. And, yeah, we're seeing him, hit the ball with a little bit of power over the last couple of games. We're seeing him get on base a little bit more this year. But, for him, it's kind of the Javi Baez wrinkle as well, and the Ben Zobrist wrinkle as well. How is he going to fit in when Zobrist comes back? How's the Cubs lineup going to look when Zobrist comes back? But, Joe Madden has not been afraid to ride the hot hand. So he's given them, a bit of a spark. And for a Cubs team that has really uncharacteristically struggled to score runs, not just recently, but this entire season, for a Cubs team that got swept at home by the Nationals without Scherzer or Corbin starting, they need some guys to get going offensively. Contreras and Rizzo have both been good, but they need guys like Russell and Baez, healthy Chris Bryant, Jason Hayward to keep it going. They need those guys to produce offensively, or they're going to be like the Cardinals were at one point on the wrong end of a lot of those low-scoring, frustrating games.
Chris, we talk a lot about the Cardinals and Cubs, the National League Central, of course. In the National League, are we all playing for second? It's got to be the Dodgers' year, doesn't it? Around baseball, are we all playing for second?
Yeah, maybe. I think that anything can happen in a playoff series. And, especially the Cardinals could be a perfect example. Because let's just say that the Cardinals avoid the National League wild card game, theoretically. You could do the same thing for the Cubs. But just for the purpose of probability and where they are right now, let's say the Cardinals avoid that game. So then Cardinals get to go play the Braves with a rested Flaherty, Hudson, and Michaelis, you would assume, and Flaherty twice in a 5-game series. I guess the Braves would get Soroka twice in a 5-game series. But the Cardinals play the Braves, and then the Cubs and Nationals play the wild card game. Would the Dodgers be thrilled about seeing either of those teams, either with the Cubs' pedigree and their lineup, or with the Nationals and their pitching staff?
Strasburg, Scherzer, Corbin, Sandoval.
And in a 5-game series, we've seen Clayton Kershaw be human this year. We've seen Walker Buehler be human this year. Hyunjin Ryu has been the best guy that they've had. But, we've seen that team, despite the wins that they've put up, anything can happen in that 5-game series. And I don't think there's any team in the National League playoff race right now that would say, we have no chance in the first round if we're the wild card team of winning one game in LA. One game. Because then you come home and you could win the series. That's what happened to the Cardinals in 2015. So, while if I had to pick and I had to make a pick and it was, holding my feet to the fire, I think, you absolutely pick the Dodgers. But, weird things happen. And baseball is really the one sport where I think more than the others, I'd have to look at the numbers, but I would assume that, the best teams and the best teams all year sometimes don't even get out of the first round. How rare is that in the NBA, in the NHL? It's happened a handful of times recently in the NHL, a 1 seed and an 8 seed. But, I just think that anything can happen, especially with the way some of these teams are going to be able to move their pitching into the bullpen. If the Cardinals could put, a couple of guys from the minors in the bullpen and shorten the game even more, if you just need 4 or 5 innings out of Dakota Hudson, then the playing field becomes a lot more level.
Of course, he brings up that 1 versus 8 3 years ago when the Blackhawks lost in Nashville.
Oh, no, I was bringing up
Tampa Bay this year.
And
Tampa.
And Tampa. Up the Grizzlies and Spurs, yeah.
Oh, well, so you're right. It does happen rarely in the NBA.
Yeah, but in baseball, it can
does,
happen so easily.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, that's a whole nother debate. I think it's stupid the way the Major League Baseball first round is played. I wish we would go to 7 games. I think there are ways to manipulate the schedule so that you're not playing into the month of November, which I like that they're done before November this year and they were last year. But it just seems unfair that, the team that's the best team in the league that then gets the wild card team, gets 2 games at home, then has to go on the road for 2 games before coming back. Shoot, I would have no problem with saying the wild card team has to play all 5 games on the road in the NLDS. I would have no problem with it.
I think I could live with that. That's if you're the best team, you should have that should be your advantage. I think,
especially
I like
that
idea.
Long march, you have to have earned something.
But we never know with baseball. You're talking about the Dodgers. Let me tell you something. The Braves are a good team.
Braves are really good.
They're really good.
I love Max Fried.
But I do think we can all agree with this. I think Milwaukee's done.
Yeah, I think that the Cardinals could have absolutely 100% buried them 6 feet under today, and they nearly did. And if you look, they just, again, this is just eye test from me watching and listening. They just look and to me feel like a team that knows they're pretty much done. And I was even more surprised last night, and I think Craig Counsell will have to answer to this, especially if this ends up being the week with the Cardinals beating them 4 out of 6 times that does them in. You know, they're down 1 run last night after getting a home run at the bottom of the 8th. They don't go to Josh Hader in the 9th. And the Cardinals scored 2 more times. And his answer after the game was, we don't go to Hader unless we're winning. Well, that's not good enough if I'm a Brewers fan, you know, because you had a chance last night to absolutely, just send the Cardinals spinning perhaps and changing not just this series, but maybe the rest of the season. And I'm not saying that Hader would have put up a 0 or the Brewers would have come back to win last night at the bottom of the 9th. But if I'm the Cardinals and, I'm watching them put up some insurance in the 9th inning, I'm saying, thank God they didn't go to Josh Hader. Thank God.
I'm with you, but you know what? I don't think that Milwaukee's management is the only one with that sort of strategic thinking. The closer is there for that role, and you're not going to burn them. You're not burning them until you have a lead.
But why? You weren't going to have a lead last night. Unless you walked that game off in the bottom of the 9th, you weren't going to have a lead. So what is the objective? Is it to keep the game? And again, if it's a 3-run game, I understand. But you score 2 runs. You have, the middle of your lineup coming up the next inning. Ryan Braun coming off the bench potentially. What is the objective? To keep it a 1-run game? You weren't going to get to use Josh Hader last night regardless, because there would have been no point the rest of that game, no matter how many extra innings it went, where the Brewers would have been leading.
And you could also be thinking, and I don't know this, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but I'll play devil's advocate here. Bullpens are burned out, and most bullpens have been terrible. And so maybe
that's another story.
Exactly, and maybe they're going, well, you know what? We're not going to use him unless we really have a lead, and so
he pitched 2 innings today.
This is going to be a night's rest. So
yeah,
who knows what goes on there?
Yeah, and I understand the closer thing, and Carlos Martinez can give the Cardinals fans heartburn, but their best guy in the bullpen has been Giovanni Gallegos this year, hands down. Easily, no question. And when Jordan Hicks went down, a lot of people wondered if Gallegos, who is spectacular against righties and lefties, has been nearly unhittable this year, would have become the closer. And the Cardinals' answer was no, because he's more valuable to us over the course of a game coming in against the Cubs with the bases loaded and Kyle Schwarber up and getting Schwarber out. He's more valuable coming in the 6th inning with runners in 2nd and 3rd against the Cincinnati Reds and striking out, Joey Votto and Suarez back-to-back and getting out of an inning. I can find a guy, and I understand the role of the closer and stuff, but, at some point, I think you appreciate Mike Schilt's desperation. Yanking Adam Wainwright with a 7-run lead the other night. Sorry, you don't get a win. I'm sorry, Wainwright. We need to win this game because it's September in a couple of days, and, that aggressiveness and the balance and not burning out their bullpen, that's been, I think, the biggest and maybe the most unheralded reason for the Cardinals in first place right now.
He is Professor Raby now. And
we're impressed.
We are. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Bye-bye. Chris Raby in St. Louis. Brought to you in part by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, of course, home of the tankless. And right now, it's home if you've got any issues with your air conditioning system to an opportunity with a great financing option. It's called $99 a month. Right now, during these dog days of summer, you can get a new Carrier from Conway for as low as $99 a month. Get into the new technology. It's so much more efficient on your MLGW bill, and it's cool in your house. And they're so good, this new technology. You can get it for $99 a month. Everybody can afford that. Plus, your new air conditioning system gets a 10-year parts warranty that's free and a Nest thermostat, state-of-the-art, all part of the deal. That's free. And you're going to get the award-winning Conway service every time. 384-3511, 384-3511. Call Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. We wrap up this show in a minute with Crunch Time. It's next on this, the Wednesday edition of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. If you're in need of a roof, there's no better place to start than Five Ash Roofing. No matter what your situation is, we have you covered. We can walk you through the insurance process without committing fraud like many of my competitors. You'd be surprised how many times salesmen and contractors will manufacture storm damage just so they can get a sale. We do residential, multifamily, and commercial work. We're certified in every form of roofing we offer. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingle, and we don't charge extra for that. And to my knowledge, there's no other roofing company in Memphis offering that level of security. And if that's not enough, we offer a best price guarantee. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Duncan Williams Investment Bankers presents Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden.
How do you like me now?
One night, Toby Keith, all the hits.
That was 1,452 beers ago.
With opening act High Valley. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, visit liveatthegarden.com. Doors open at 6:30. Show starts at 8:30. Also presented by FedEx, True Green, Infinity of Memphis, Regions Bank, Radiance, Pro Show, Mahaffey Tent, and PDR. That's Toby Keith at Live at the Garden this Saturday, August 31st at the Botanic Garden.
No matter what your past credit, no matter how much you owe on your trade, no matter if you tried to buy at another deal and were turned down, Sunrise Buick GMC can get you financed. There's never been a better time to trade. Sunrise has hundreds of new vehicles and over $5 million in used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. Sunrise has the lowest prices and will not be undersold. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com. The blowout sale going on now at all Sunrise locations, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops this Labor Day weekend for the trade-in, trade-up sale. Trade in your golf balls and get $3 towards a new dozen. Trade in your shoes and get $10 towards a new pair. Trade in your golf bag and get $25 towards a new one. And get a 50% bonus trade-in on your old clubs. And remember, be sure and check out the new T-Series irons from Titleist. It's all happening now through Labor Day at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, serving golfers since 1968.
Welcome back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. It's crunch time. In your life have you seen anything like that?
We'll take questions again for the student athletes at this time, please.
He's a professional. He's pretty classy for his age.
In the crunch time, that's the frustrating part. Little Penny could make some appearances this year.
Okay, I'm not huge into stats.
Has it always been this way?
It's crunch time, so I got a different mind state.
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
Is this thing working?
Immediately when the buzzer sounds, he lets out this shriek.
You throw those ears forward, and he was in stroke mode.
This is stupid.
It's obviously crunch time.
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day. Dave, what'd you learn today?
I learned a couple things. Just moments ago, 15-year-old Coco Gauff. Remember, she made a big name at Wimbledon. She just won her match in the second round of the U.S. Open. And, Brett, there's going to be a really cool joint school, Ole Miss and Memphis party. It is at Central Barbecue's banquet hall right behind the store on Summer Avenue, Friday night. It's really to honor the memory of Glenn Cofield and one of his charities. The money will go to the Reformed University Fellowship. I think it's going to the Memphis side, but all sides are invited. Free food, free drink, just a donation to honor Glenn Cofield.
Very nice. Very nice. Learned today 20 straight home opening wins for Tennessee when they opened the season at home at Neyland Stadium. Unbeaten over 22 games at home in season openers. They tied UCLA a tie. Tied 26-26, Drew, in 1985. It was epic. I bet you would have loved it, Drew. I know how much you love ties.
Oh, I'm sure I would have.
They
hated it.
They haven't lost a home opener to open the season since 1983 when Johnny Majors lost to his old school Pitt 13-3. That's a long time.
That's a long
of pleasing the people on opening day at home.
That is a long time ago.
What is it you could have done without
I could very easily have done without the news that Dylan Moses, Alabama's great inside linebacker, went down last night with a knee injury. He is now expected to miss the entire season, and that is a huge loss on that side of the ball for Nick Saban's team.
I know this on Saturday, the lapel pins that a lot of people will be wearing in the press box you gave me today, I really appreciate it. FG for our friend Forrest Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be some tears Saturday.
Yep.
When we walk into the press box and Forrest is not there with us. It's all hit us. We all know the gravity of it, but it'll really hit again Saturday. He loved that game. That was his first game as part of the broadcast team. I'll proudly be wearing this FG pin on Saturday.
So that was his first game as the
1999
as the host in 1999.
3-0
I didn't
snoozer.
that.
But I'm driving over and I hear this guy I didn't know and had never heard before, and I'm going, my goodness, he's great. And he was. I'm in the press box, and I asked Dave Wolo, and I go, Dave, who was the guy that was so good on pregame? He goes, he's standing right here. Let me introduce you to him. And it's Forrest Goodman. We were friends from that day on. And Saturday, proudly will be wearing that pin. What are you keeping your eye on tonight?
The Cubs and the Mets and the U.S. Open. By the way, Roger Federer was a winner again today.
I'm looking forward to. I wish we had a kind of a secret camera on the Shea Patterson reaction when he was told by Jim Harbaugh they're going to play 2 quarterbacks this Saturday and a lot this year. I bet that didn't go over well with his dad. Shea's good. He's just not that good. He's good. He's just not that good. How about this matchup tonight? Mike Foltynewicz against Jacob Wagespack. Good luck announcers in that one.
This final portion brought to you by Homer. Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, home of Hyundais, home of Genesis. They're even going to have more Genesis cars. They're making a bigger and bigger deal out of the Genesis line. They really are. They're going to make the dealership bigger. They're going to have 2 separate entrances, and they're all going to have assurance. The shopper assurance, which you all know about by now, which is transparent pricing, and that includes flexible test drive. Take the car for a couple of days. When you buy, streamline. You're in, you're out. You're not there all day long. And the best part, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You got any buyer's remorse, you got 3 days to exchange the car. That's what they do at Homer Skelton Hyundai, and this assurance, too. The product's so good. Perfect marriage of technology and service at this dealership. But it's so good you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on every new car. Just take Lamar into Mississippi. You'll be there at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Thank John Gowen, Jason Munns, and David Kellum and Chris Raby. We'll do this again tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over 1/3 of Memphis's existence. Someone asked me if we remember the day the Rendezvous started, and I tell them no, because if we thought it was going to last this long, we'd have kept much better records. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich. It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on a bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. My grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the Alley in downtown Memphis.
In today's evolving workplace, XMC understands the process of getting office work done has moved from the desktop to your pocket. The new Xerox multifunctional printers and Connect Key app technology are game changers. Are you working with confidential information? Does it need to be secure from unwanted threats? Do you need to translate documents to another language? Xerox's App Gallery provides solutions like secure printing and easy translator technology. XMC is the second largest exclusive Xerox agent in the U.S. with 9 locations to serve you. We've been in business for over 25 years and have received top awards from Xerox. In changing our world one experience at a time, our team's committed to doing what's right for your business. XMC is proud to be your leader in